redeems. Right, I have no idea if you can hear me. I'm assuming you can. Let's find out. Aha, if a desktop was seen, then I'm presumably audible. Hello everybody. Good morning. Or whatever time of day it might be for you. It is 7:40 in the AM for me, which is terrible. I haven't actually slept. And now you are going to witness the 4-hour descent into insanity that is Mystery of the Druids. Not only that, but I haven't slept, so I'm going to be even weirder than usual. This is going to be a cozy time. This is a showcase rather than a speedrun, because I want you to be able to enjoy this marvelous game. That might be a lie. This game is quite a thing. If you don't know this, it is a game that is somewhat infamous in point-and-click adventure circles for two reasons. One of which is the box art, which has been lovingly recreated with pants on its head as an emote. And secondly, you may know of just how dreadful the very first puzzle in the game is. If you know more about this game, please don't say any more about it. Let people enjoy the ride blind. But for the moment, I'm gonna just hit new game. We'll start the opening cutscene. You can watch that. And we'll talk a little bit more about it after that. Enjoy. Dolby. It's loud. I apologise if my commentary gets more and more unhinged via this. Also, beware, I might accidentally do a swear word or two, because this game deserves it. It is indeed on GOG. It is also on Steam. It is a complete pain to get working regardless of what platform you choose to purchase it on. You do not want to know how much time I have spent making this thing work. Also, don't be fooled by this. This is not a spooky game or a horror game or anything like that. It might want to be. It really wants to be a serious game. It just fails at every step of the way. There is one cutscene where I will give you a content warning. Personally, I think it's so over the top it's hilarious. Other people may not, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Let me put it this way, I have played this game more times than anyone else should, by which I mean I have played it more than 0 times. We found the Druids. Does this mean I can stop? Is this a world record? I will start the timer when the cutscene is over, incidentally. I've also got a challenge for you, chat. We'll go over that after the cutscene. Don't worry, the babies are fine. It's everybody else who's in trouble. The babies are just evil. Look at that. Look at that smirk.
And that's why I say you're a blockhead, Lowry. How could you let such a thing happen? The man was innocent. What do you think the press are going to say about all this? Now get out of here! Get that out of my sight! And if I have any more trouble with you, you'll be dishing out parking tickets before long. And that's a promise, Lowry. Oh, and here's my good friend Halligan. Another one of the invaluable detectives of our glorious murder squad. Don't just stand there gaping. Come in. I'm glad you could make it. After all, you're a busy man, aren't you? Now look here, Detective Halligan. I've got used to being surrounded by a bunch of incompetent, half-baked blockheads. But your smart, well-dressed colleague Lowry has just earned himself the golden badge of stupidity. Halligan, we've got a bit of a problem. We've had an innocent man locked up in jail. Regrettably, he was killed in prison before we could correct our mistake. Unfortunate affair. And now we've got this lunatic killer running around all over London. We have to make sure that at least this oversight is put right. Your clear-up rate so far ought to be sufficient evidence that there's no point in asking you to clear up anything more than a common bicycle theft. But this does happen to be the murder squad. I am the chief of this department. All I have for choice is that blockhead Lowry and you.
Okay, Chief. What do you want me to do?
Halligan is 100% the worst character in this game. Also, LiveSplit has crashed, so we're not actually going to have a timer here. I don't know why it's doing this, but I'm going to guess it's something to do with Mystery of the Druids' weird resolution breaking. What's been going on so far is detailed in the manual. There have been murders in which the bodies have been found reduced to nothing more than skeletons, no flesh. The police arrested someone, the courts convicted him, the man died in prison, and then another skeleton murder happened. We're gonna hear a little bit more about this now.
Where did Lowry go wrong?
Your dear colleague Lowry dealt with the skeleton murders last year. You should know that, Halligan. Lowry worked on the case for several months, and finally managed to pull a culprit out of the hat. A butcher from South London. A married man with kids. They gave him a life sentence. He was in jail till 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, this game will crash if I click out of it, if I Alt-Tab, if I look at it funny, and it is very, very easy to do this.
Pulled out of the hat, you say? So the butcher didn't do it after all?
Oh, you're a genius, Halligan. He didn't do it. We found that out today.
He didn't do it? How could he be convicted then?
Detective Lowry imaginatively constructed an impressive...
We're going to start this relatively slowly just to introduce you to how awful some of these characters are. It's going to get much, much worse.
They found somebody. That's life.
Well, all right, these things happen. But how do you know that the man Lowry arrested didn't commit the murders?
Very simple. Dead people don't go around committing more murders.
There's been another murder.
Exactly, Halligan. A pile of bones has been found in Epping Forest. Supposedly a male corpse. We don't know any more than that. I presume we both agree that it can't have been Lowry's man, eh?
Oh, of course.
You see, I've just managed to get that into Lowry's head as well. You heard it? Lowry's off the case. Halligan, you drive out to Epping Forest and take a look at the evidence.
Of course, sir.
And Halligan, no sloppiness now. I want results. Sensible results. The press has already been terrorizing me this morning. The killer must be found. Do I make myself clear?
Of course, Chief.
Good. This is the file with all the necessary information, and now you'd better get going quickly.
Chat, we're going to play a game. No, I cannot start the timer, unfortunately, without closing the game and restarting it, which might actually crash the computer, because this is a very well-made game. Count how many crimes Detective Halligan commits during this game. Firstly, we're going to take the Chief's matches. I don't think that counts as a crime, but it's an inventory item we need. We don't need anything else from the Chief at the moment, so we're just going to leave. We're going to head down here. Oh, we need to make a stop by the photocopier, because this is a very serious game about serious murders, so we'll use the photocopier. Yep. I'm going to be doing that a lot. We need to stop by our office where we can learn a little bit more about Detective Halligan and how good he is.
Al's Pizza Palace makes the best pizza in the whole of London.
Way more than the average adventure character.
Unfortunately, there's no pizza in there anymore.
Delicious pizza. We need to investigate each of these drawers individually.
Is there anything worse than thirst? I'll take it with...
We need the apple juice from that drawer.
I'll take it with me. Maybe I'll give it back to Miss Browning today.
We need the scarf from that drawer. I'm going to skip through a lot of this dialogue. We need the evidence bags there, which Halligan will not comment on. We need the gloves here. I think that's everything we need from here. But yeah, this is a delightful office. God save the Queen and all that. This is set in the year 2000. And naturally, we've got a dartboard on the back of it. Halligan's bookshelf, meanwhile, is full of books like Crop Circles.
Serious riddle. John Sinclair, Ghost Hunter. My favourite book.
He's very into UFOs, the occult, that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. We're also going to make a quick stop by... Not this way. We're going to go and stop by Janet. Janet runs the IT department. The London Met is very, very understaffed in this game. We're going to take some carbon paper,
At least that's one thing
a
you can
clipboard,
get hold of here without too much trouble. It's always handy having one of these tucked away. We ran out not so long ago.
a procurement form. Yeah, the murder squad has 3 detectives on it. Scotland Yard's homicide department is not great in this game, and one of them is on leave. We need to go over here and get some fingerprint powder, which is in a very interesting looking jar. I'd like to leave this screen, please. Thank you. We're going to save talking to Chris and Janet for a little bit, but we will go and see Lowry. This is a very, very well-made game, as you will notice, because Lowry is floating several feet above his desk. Lowry is a wizard. This is not a glitch of playing it on modern computers. He actually just does this.
Hello, Lowry.
Oh, no, not you, Halligan. You're all I need at the moment.
That's a nice suit you're wearing.
Don't humour me, Halligan. You don't know a thing about suits. A blind man would know from 100 yards away that you bought your stuff at Woolworths. What do you want?
Just a quick question, Lowry. Have you seen my wallet?
Your wallet? You've got a nerve. I haven't really had a very pleasant day so far, as you might have noticed. Why would I worry about your bloody wallet?
Larry, could you just give me a sensible answer? I'm looking for my wallet.
So what? Do you think I've got it? Why don't you just go and clear up your oh-so-tidy office? Maybe you'll find some of those things you allegedly just wanted to borrow for a while.
Thank you for being so very friendly, Lowry. Enjoy your spare time.
Just clear off, Halligan.
Everyone in this game is a delight. We also want to borrow his scissors. He's not too keen on this idea, though.
Halligan?
Yes?
Might I ask you what you think you're doing?
I just wanted to borrow your scissors. Just for 5 minutes.
Forget it.
Don't make such a fuss about your blasted scissors. I won't break them.
Oh, you won't break them, Halligan. You'll lose them, mislay them, not bring them back. You'll do with them what you always do with anything you lay your hands on. I am determined not to lose anything ever again, Halligan, especially not to you. Do I make myself clear?
All right, then. Keep them.
Yeah, we are definitely not going to break those scissors.
What is
Please
it this time,
remember that.
Halligan?
Let's annoy Lowry a bit more.
I'd really like to know how a braggart like you managed to get a date with Janet.
Well, you know what, Halligan? Women do like a winner, don't they? Little Janet is no exception. We went to the Palace yesterday.
What was showing?
The new Schwarzenegger film.
You know how to handle women, don't you?
Of course. Janet said she found it disgusting, but I know for a fact that she was very keen on it. Women are like that. Do you understand?
What amazes me is why a woman like her should find your boring stories about cars, sports and action films so entertaining.
Halligan, I'm sure you didn't come to tell me that. What do you really want?
Could you lend me some change?
You haven't found your wallet, have you? Well, sorry, Halligan, but this is Scotland Yard, not the Bank of England.
Yep, I can understand how he got a date with that sort of floating.
You're a really nice person, Lowry.
I do my best.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
Alright, that's enough faffing around for the moment. Let's actually get on with the game a little bit. This is a bit of a slow starter, but when we get to the actual first puzzle, you will start to see the levels of absolute moon logic insanity we are dealing with here. First things first, we need to head to Epping Forest and investigate the crime scene. We're not going to talk to that police officer. He has nothing useful to tell us, so we'll just take a look at the body. This is the state that all the bodies have been left in. No flesh, really, just bones left behind.
Skull of the corpse. This bone is quite long. Seems it's from the victim's leg.
So we want to take an evidence bag and take the bone, and we also want to get a patch of grass. And that's basically everything we need to do here. That's everything from the crime scene sorted. All that police officer will tell you is that a jogger found the body and hasn't been in the country long, so he couldn't really do it. We now need to go and talk to the forensic technician, and then we can get on with the true first puzzle of the game, and I can begin to lose my sanity.
I've just come back from the place where they found the bones in Epping Forest.
And? Trailblazing new findings?
I've got something here I'd like you to have a look at.
Show me.
Firstly, let's show him the bone.
Here you go, Chris. Have a look at this.
A bone. Very likely the right thigh bone. Why are you bringing it here? I had a look at the bones with the forensics.
Epping Forest is a real place, I promise you.
I've still got a couple of questions about them.
Well, go ahead then.
You say this. Just wait until we start committing lots of crimes.
Somebody maybe scorched the flesh off the bone.
No, definitely not. That would look different. I suspect that it was rather cut off, or maybe taken off with acid.
What sex was the victim?
Judging by the structure of the bones, I think it was male. I'll write that down in my report as well, but I'll tell you right now that you won't get it before the end of the week, Halligan.
You can't tell me more than that about the bones? Chris, that doesn't help me.
There's really no more to say about the bones, Halligan. Just wait for my report. You'll have it all nicely written down then. Or, hang on a moment. If you're really interested, go and see Professor Turner. He was the supervisor of a friend's PhD thesis. That's how I met him. He works in an anthropological museum in Oxford.
I don't know if the microphone picked up my deep sigh there, but there's a reason for it.
Okay, thanks for the advice.
Don't mention it, Brent.
We will also show him the grass, because near as I can tell, although the grass has absolutely no bearing on anything in the game, this is a required event flag for something completely unrelated.
Also from the place where the bones were found, I suppose.
Exactly.
Okay, Brent. And what do you want to know about it?
What do you think about this?
This is grass, Halligan.
You notice anything about it?
The grass looks slightly burnt, I'd say.
The bones were lying on this grass.
Oh, maybe somebody made a fire on the grass.
Oh, this game goes way beyond classic adventure game logic. You will discover this very, very shortly.
That was no fireplace, Chris. The grass was burnt under the bones and just there.
Well then, maybe the bones got hot.
Can bones get that hot in the sun?
Well, I don't think this is very likely in autumn. But right now, I can't say much more about that either.
He seems very uninterested in the fact that the grass that the bones were lying on was on fire and nothing else around was. But, you know, he's a busy man. Let's check the photocopier again. Okay, it's time for the first puzzle in the game. And yes, I'm going to be using that photocopier pretty much every opportunity I get. It makes this more bearable. Here is the Anthropological Museum. We need to go in and speak to a professor. How difficult could this possibly be? Well, this is an adventure game. A legendarily not good adventure game.
locked. Closed due to renovation works. Great. And now?
Well, there is an easy method of sorting this out. We can just phone them up. The problem with this is that Halligan makes so many international calls that his internal phone is no longer allowed to dial anywhere except internally. He's lost his wallet, so he doesn't have any money, so he can't call from a payphone, and everybody hates him, so nobody will let him use the phone. So, we need to find some other way of getting in there. And considering all the mentions of Halligan's lost wallet, you might think that we need to find the wallet, but no.
Hello, my friend.
Huh?
Can I help you somehow?
Help? Help? Nobody can help.
Oh yeah, everyone has very good reason
Everybody
for
has a
hating
hard time
Halligan.
now and then. Maybe I can do something for you.
Just leave it. I've lost everything. Everything. No money, no flat, no future. I'm finished. Simply finished.
Have you seen anybody going into the museum?
Yeah.
We're going to start skipping through dialogue a bit more shortly.
Yeah, pretty one.
We will definitely do that during
haven't
the
seen a man.
lengthy info dumps.
Only a woman. She comes here every day. Now and again, she gives me a few pennies. Oh, I think she works in the museum.
Ah, a woman then.
So what? What's special about that? There are millions of women running about in this world.
Okay, I must be off now.
Well then. Okay.
And the
Hello, my
subtitles
friend.
indicate the wrong line there.
Can I help?
Help? No, I'm...
We could ask, have you tried working, but let's just ask him what
you
he
need
needs.
most urgently.
What I need a drink. Hey, mightn't you have a couple of pounds for me?
There's money in your...
Woolworths was
Isn't that enough
a
for a bottle of
chain
Gumdrop?
department
No,
store which
Those
sold
pennies
basically
bigger
everything.
pocket
It closed a while back, but it was kind of a British institution.
Okay, I must be off now.
Well,
Think we've triggered enough flags. There we go.
Absolutely empty.
So, clearly we need to go and get the beggar a drink. Back to Scotland Yard. Right. So, this puzzle and the crime we are about to commit. Woolworths in current year context is no longer existing in the UK. Firstly, we need to go over here and dust these bottles for no reason that the game ever makes apparent.
That won't get me any...
Now we need to examine them first, my mistake. It takes us 20 minutes to dust them, apparently. Now that we have dusted them, we can ask Chris.
Well, Halligan, how'd you get on at the museum? What did Professor Turner say? Could he help you?
Something I wanted to ask you, Chris. What do those flasks contain?
Oh, you mean those on the shelves? They contain all sorts of different chemicals I need for my work. Indicator solutions, alcohol, things like that.
You've got a great job, Chris. Masses of alcohol and everything legal.
Nonsense, Halligan. Do you think we spend all day getting drunk with medical alcohol? Why don't you just try the stuff?
Sure, no problem.
Here, Brent, to your health. What's up? Go ahead, try it. You won't get one of these so often.
All right, here we go. Cheers.
To your health, Brent.
An interesting aroma, isn't it?
Brent, aren't you feeling very well? Brent, are you sure you're okay?
Everyone hates Halligan, and he deserves it.
God damn it. You could knock someone out cold with this kind of stuff, Chris.
Why? That gives me an idea. Well, Chris isn't anywhere to be found, so let's go over here and take a look. Now, we have no idea which bottle he used, so let's put fingerprint powder on all of them.
Look what we've got here. This is the bottle Chris took.
So, let's take that. We'll find it in our inventory. And we will put some into the beggar's flask. Yeah, Halligan is very stupid. These bottles are labelled, and also, they were so dusty that they needed dusting, so you'd be able to see which bottle he took regardless. And he will not offer you a drink until you've dusted them, so effectively you have to dust them, knowing that he will offer you a drink once you've dusted them, so that you can fingerprint them to find out which bottle he took. This puzzle makes no sense.
There's nothing I can do.
Now, we can't just give the beggar medical alcohol, so let's mix it with some apple juice as well.
Now the flask is full, with ethanol and apple juice.
What a lovely combination. Ah, right, photocopier, of course. I have seen that hundreds of times and it does not get old. Back we go to the Museum of Oxford to offer our new friend the beggar our wonderful drink. The photocopied face would be an excellent emote as well.
So what? Haven't you asked enough questions yet? You know more about me than my goddamn mother. Bagger off.
Okay, I must be off now.
Well then, okay.
I've got something for you. Apple schnapps from Detective Halligan's home distillery. My own brand. Would you like to have a taste?
You serious? All right.
This is the first puzzle, fear not.
Dry as the bottom of a parrot's cage.
Why don't you drink it all? I don't mind.
I mean, the end of the first puzzle, but still.
Cheers, mister.
Cheers.
So there we go. We have now successfully drugged a beggar and knocked him unconscious for the specific reason of stealing his change. So I guess that's 2 crimes for the price of 1. Yes, this is required just to get into the museum. This is slightly weird in the order you need to do this. We lift up the receiver, then we look at the phone book.
Let's see if the phone number of the museum is listed in here. Museum, okay. Museum of African Studies, Museum of Ancient History. Here, Anthropological Museum, and the
Oh yes, this is a payphone. Young people,
I've got it.
we used to have phones that you could put coins in. Coins were like the old form of money. I mean, it mentions repeatedly that
Hello, who's that?
he's lost his wallet, but you would think that's a clue that you need to find his wallet. Alas, no.
This is Detective Halligan from Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard? What can I do for you?
I need to speak to Professor Turner. Doesn't he work at the museum?
Yes, but he's away on business.
But I really need to speak to him urgently.
Professor Turner will not be available while he's on his expedition. I'm afraid you'll have to wait.
Where has he gone to?
Kenya. It's a long expedition.
Look, miss. What was your name?
Goodbye, Mr. Halligan.
She's hung up.
The start of this game involves a lot of back and forthing and awful puzzles. Don't worry, it gets much more interesting and terrible from here on out. You would not believe some of the awful, awful things we do in this game. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Alright, back we go. We need to speak to Chris again.
Well,
I'll go into detail
Got a
on
headache.
some of Halligan's prior crimes.
Professor Turner.
Yeah, I phoned him, but he wasn't in.
Not in?
He's on an expedition. I just talked to some woman who works there.
With his extension number?
Yes, exactly.
Well, Halligan, that was probably his daughter Melanie. She works in the museum as well. My friend told me a lot about her. He used to be really keen on her.
So, Professor Turner has a daughter. Thanks, Chris. I think that'll help me.
There we go. Now we know who the woman on the phone is, and as such, that's sufficient to make her trust us and let us into the museum. This game does have some sort of internal logic, it's just of a very interesting kind. Vengeful Blades, like I said, this is tip of the iceberg, especially because I get the sense this is kind of trying to be Gabriel Knight, Broken Sword, that sort of thing. But no. Just no.
Hello?
Hello, this is Halligan again. Please don't hang up, Miss Turner.
How do you know my name, Mr. Halligan?
Chris Hecker told me that Professor Turner's your father.
Yes, that's true.
What do you do at the museum?
I'm an anthropologist.
The same as your father.
Yes?
Miss Turner, do you think you could help me?
That depends. What's the trouble?
I found a bone that I've had examined at the lab.
A bone? A human bone?
Yes, of course. It belonged to a murder victim.
Murder? How awful.
The bone is from the body of one of the victims of the skeleton murders. I take it you've read about them?
Oh, good heavens, yes. What can I do for you?
Couldn't we discuss that inside?
Certainly. Come on over. I'll let you
So,
in.
she knew that we needed to speak to an anthropologist, didn't bother to mention that she was an anthropologist, which was probably sensible because it meant talking to Halligan. And so we then had to go back and do some extra back and forthing in order to get her to open the door.
Mr. Halligan?
Yes, that's right. Hello, Miss Turner.
Also, this is our love
Thank
interest.
You for taking the time.
No problem. We're closed anyway. The museum is being refurbished.
It's not easy to get in touch with you. I was close to giving up.
Oh, you mean because of the phone call? I'm really sorry. I do sometimes tend to be rather short on the phone. You know, I get unpleasant calls sometimes, and that's why I'm a bit suspicious.
I see. Well, I finally got in touch with you.
Would you like to come in? Would you like a cup of coffee or anything else?
No, thanks.
Mr. Halligan, how may I help you?
As I said, I'm working on the skeleton murders. We found another victim in Epping Forest. All the evidence points to the same culprit as in the other cases. The corpse was completely skeletonized. Professional work.
That's horrible. But how can I help you?
My colleague Chris Hecker of the Forensic Lab has already had a look at the bones. He thought that your father could perhaps carry out some additional tests. He is a renowned expert, after all.
Yes, he could do that. But as I said, my father isn't here.
I know, but it is...
That's a very good question, Bentley.
You say you've got some of the bones with you?
Yes, just one.
Also, the sort of stuff that Melanie discovers here is something that you would hope that the actual forensics lab would have picked up on.
Take some time, Mr. Halligan. Could you wait a moment?
Yeah, we've also taken a few bits of evidence from the murder scene.
Sure.
We're not going to ask her questions because that takes time and is pointless. It's also not particularly funny or interesting. So we've got the bone. The first thing we need to do is to cut a small sliver off of it. And then we need to go back here and go to the microscope. We are now playing as Melanie for a very brief section, but not the first. And now we need to do the very realistic thing of clicking to make it go into focus. Oh, we made it go out of focus.
Properly.
There we go.
There's some metal residue here. It's gold.
And now we examine the table full of weapons.
That's interesting. The notches in the bone were made by a sharp instrument. The sickle matches the notches to a T. Hey, didn't this edition mention something in connection with sacrificial rites in Britain? Let's see. Yes, here it is. An article about the Druids and their sacrificial rites. The latest findings indicate that in ancient England it was probable for the most... for their high ceremonies, the Celts usually preferred to use... incredible. It all fits in with this bone. I'm sure the detective will be very interested.
So the forensics department somehow missed that there is gold in the bones and that it was a sickle that caused the incisions and wounds and so on. The forensics department is not very good at their job.
About your bone.
Go ahead.
This bone was worked on.
With a sickle?
Yes, and probably with a sickle made of gold.
What makes you think that?
The bone bears notches matching the cutting form of a sickle to a T, and I found a trace of gold in one of the notches.
A golden sickle?
I found something very interesting about your bone, Detective Halligan.
In order to cut a human being to pieces.
That's what I asked myself as well. I found an interesting article which could help us. According to the historian Arthur Blake, the Britannic Druids carried out very bloody sacrificial rites. He found out that such rites took place at major celebrations of the Celts. He assumes that consecrated golden sickles were used for those rites.
And how does he know about these things?
He learned about it from old inscriptions he's translating at the moment. Interesting, huh?
Celts? Druids?
It's a good thing that Halligan is very much into the occult and UFOs, otherwise he would probably completely disregard this.
Findings on your bone, Mr. Halligan. I'm sure the author of the article can help you.
Gold is a terrible weapon to use, or a terrible metal to use for weapons, but in this instance, I suppose it's for sacrificial rites rather than weapons, so hey.
What do you think? Could this Blake be right?
I don't know. Maybe he just wants the bone you've shown.
So you think this murder could be a ritual murder?
Yes, it would be possible. There are several occult sects and Satanists. They like checking their history books and adopting archaic...
MB Redboy, considering Halligan, this is actually very, very plausible.
What did you say this author's name was?
Blake. Arthur Blake.
Was there any mention in the article of how you could get in touch with the man?
I thought you'd ask that. His address was printed below the article. 366 Pinewood Road, Northampton.
Halligan would indeed probably try to steal the gold.
Mr. Halligan, I'm interested in this, particularly because of my job. I'd like to help you with your case. Would you take me with you?
Impossible. It's confidential police work. I have to see him on my own. I'm sorry.
I'm sure my knowledge would be to your advantage, Mr. Halligan, and I think it would be really interesting to work on a case like that.
Oh,
Halligan relents very, very easily.
Not a bad idea at all. Perhaps there will be more examinations to be done. Okay, Miss Turner, let's do it like this. I'll keep you informed on the case. If I hear anything new or if I need your help, I'll contact you. What do you think?
All right. I'll see you later then.
Yeah, see you later. And thank you, Miss Turner.
I mean, her existence is already cursed, as she has now met Halligan, and thus terrible things are going to happen. Terrible things happen to literally everybody Halligan meets in this game, now that I think about it.
This must be it. Pretty out of the way.
Alright, it's time for a fairly sizable info dump, and then we can get on to some more really stupid puzzles. Blake is actually one of the few characters in this game who is not an arsehole and is quite likeable.
Yes? My name's Brent Halligan. I'm a detective from Scotland Yard. I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Scotland Yard? What's this about? Is something wrong?
I'd rather we discuss this in private. Do you mind if I come in?
I'm not sure. What's happened? Is there a problem with one of my publications?
No, sir. I'm investigating a murder case. Perhaps you could help me? It really won't take very long.
Murder? Awful.
I will probably skip through some of this in the interests of
Mr.
time.
Blake, I'd really prefer it if we could go somewhere a little more private. May I come in?
Well, yes, certainly. Come on in.
And then I need to be sure not to soft lock the game, which I can do very easily, very shortly.
You're the author of a book on Druids, am I right?
Yes, quite correct. In fact, I'm just working on a revised version for the next edition. But what makes you so interested in my book?
I'm currently investigating a series of murders in London. I've made some interesting discoveries that I'd like to discuss with you.
What series of murders are we talking about?
The skeleton murders. You may have read about them in the papers.
Oh, yes. Of course. A terrible business.
Mr. Blake, I believe there may be some sort of ritual behind these murders.
Well, what makes you think that?
Dr. Turner from the Anthropological Museum in Oxford examined one of the last victim's bones.
Also, I love the tense anxiety music in
notches.
Arthur Blake's office.
Yes. Does that mean anything to you? Doesn't your book on Druids mention ritual killings, for which a golden sickle was used?
True. Are you saying
I have plenty of safety saves, thankfully.
The same ritual?
That's what I've come to ask you.
But that's impossible. It can't be true. It's... my God.
My God.
It would confirm all my translations. I've been researching the history of the Druids for 30 years now, but I've never yet found proof of my greatest fears.
Your greatest fears?
Yes, the perfection of the final ritual, the final confirmation of the Druids' power.
We've happened to turn up during the apocalypse, apparently.
What's this final ritual all about?
This is the text I wrote down during my travels through England and France. You know, when you travel through the country, you can feel that many locals still believe in the old Celtic customs. A group of farmers in the south of England let me copy the inscriptions on a megalith that stands in a field there. They claim that there used to be a huge Druid temple close to their house, but there's nothing left of it now. Whatever. I managed to
Chop, that's me in my head right now.
Okay,
I'm thinking, what have I gotten myself into and why do I have to do this for another 3.5 hours?
The last of the Druids saw the fall of their priesthood coming in the year 1000 AD. In the confusion surrounding the final destruction of the Order, a demonic superior Druid seized power, using his knowledge of Druid magic, not for the good of his people and to honor the gods, but to submit all of mankind to his rule, in order to secure the survival of the Druids' tradition.
And this was what we saw in the introduction.
Work, he organized a final ritual, transferring the knowledge and power of the last of the Druids to 5 infants. These infants have always been referred to as the Inheritors.
Go on.
The inscription says that the ritual was not entirely completed. I've not yet been able to discover why, but from what I've learnt, the Inheritors are strong and powerful enough to one day complete the ritual by themselves.
I will say, most of the voice acting in this is reasonably decent, and the music is also pretty good. It's just kind of in the wrong place from time to time.
Right. What are these?
That's just it. I haven't told you the whole story.
There's more?
Well, hurry up and tell me the whole story.
The inscriptions explain that the Druids' inheritors require the life force of other people to complete the ritual.
I see. And how do they do that?
According to legend, the flesh has to be cut off the bones of living humans and to be eaten. Only then can their life force be transferred.
You mean...
Time a broken game will crash if I alt-tab.
Were practically eaten alive by cannibals?
By Druids. Yes.
I don't believe it.
The worst is yet to come, Mr. Halligan.
What? What could possibly be worse than that?
If such skeletons have been found in London, bearing marks of the golden sickle, it can only mean
this is a German game, and I believe the German pronunciation of pizza is pizza, and I suspect that they told the voice actor to pronounce it that way. He stops doing it later.
By evil, dark magic will be unleashed upon the world, and mankind will have but one choice: to obey.
Yep,
to die.
We have cannibal druid serial killers who are about to take over the world.
You know, Mr. Halligan, I'm not a superstitious man, but I've spent enough time studying Druidism to know that...
I'm not a superstitious man, but yes, 1,000 years ago, 5 immortal infants were given incredible druid powers.
That have been found within the past few months fit in perfectly with the Druids' sacrificial rites. The day of the ritual's perfection is drawing near. Of that I'm certain. What we're looking at right now is just the beginning. Before we're through, more people will die, and the inheritors will soon be strong enough.
What can we do about it?
Time is running out, Mr. Halligan. You can put them out.
Yeah, we need to stop the inheritors.
During my latest research, if the story I've heard is true, then there's a certain item that was extremely important for the ritual 1,000 years ago.
What is it?
A piece of jewelry mentioned in the old inscriptions. The Amulet of Transformation. You should try to gain possession of that amulet.
The Amulet of Transformation? What's its purpose?
I don't know, Mr. Halligan.
So we now have a MacGuffin to find. We don't know what it does, but we need it.
For the completion of the ritual. If you find the amulet, you may be able to prevent the ritual.
The game would be over by now if we were playing as Lowry. We'd probably have just arrested somebody already.
How did you find out about the amulet?
My work led to the discovery of a connection.
Also, we could have floated into one of the buildings of the Anthropological Museum.
There was a small group of British Druids who fled to France when the ritual failed.
What for?
I don't know.
Oh, now I want to make a Mystery of the Druids fan game where you play as Lowry.
A 13th century despotic French nobleman somehow gained possession of the amulet. I found a picture of him in an old archive.
Really? Let me see.
Yeah. That's definitely a despotic French nobleman.
Well, he doesn't look particularly friendly. Was he a druid?
Well, he must have had something to do with the Druids, but I really can't tell you how he gained possession of the amulet. However, he is the only clue that I can possibly give you. As to the whereabouts of the amulet, I suggest that you make your way to Carmore. With any luck, you may find more clues leading to the amulet there.
All right, Mr. Blake. I'll get going immediately.
Take care of yourself, Mr. Halligan. Good luck.
All right, we're off to France, where we are going to commit more crimes and not get deported. And hopefully not softlock the game. We go to Portsmouth to board a ferry. We get a nice cutscene. Oh boy. France is home to some of the stupidest puzzles in the game.
Hello, Captain.
Bonjour.
Do you know the castle of Carmore? I say.
I might.
Well, do you know the castle or don't you? You're not being very talkative.
No.
Oh, well, thanks for the conversation.
You're welcome.
Speaking of that...
A de chevaux. Probably the fisherman's. Good day to you, monsieur.
Shush, 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 silence.
Tell me, my good man, which way is the castle?
Castle? Oh, you mean the burnt-down mound of rubble on the outskirts of the village, I suppose?
Yes, that's it.
What do you want to go there for? There's nothing to see there.
I just want to take a look around. So, which way do I go?
Oh, that's simple. Just follow the road through the village, past the crossroads, and straight ahead. Keep going for about 3 kilometers, then you can't miss it.
Have you ever heard of the Lord of the
We're going to skip through most of this. The Lord was a boogeyman.
Have you...
People have been to the castle to get stones.
That's not true. What's the Lord?
Oh.
So the car...
Yes.
What do you...
not much. There's a child...
Why is that?
Anyway, there's not much left of the car. There's just...
I have to go.
Thank you.
We're also going to ask him...
Quiet. My God, haven't you been listening? I'm trying to catch fish, my friend.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Well, how do you like the area? Have you explored it yet?
Not really, to be honest.
Aha.
No.
Very well.
Certainly. I have to...
Thank you.
Okay, we'll head to the castle first. That conversation is a touch later. I will do my best not to softlock this.
This must be the castle. Rather, what's...
The castle. Schloss von Carmors, which is German, but that's fine. Most of this castle is completely useless to us. For instance, we can go into this area, which is the actual castle itself. There is nothing to do here, we can just go here. What we actually need to do is go down into the graveyard, and we will do one thing here before going back into town to solve really stupid puzzles. We're going to open this gate, and this took me so long to figure out. So long.
An iron gate.
The gate is locked. How do we open it? Well, we use the file on it, and that somehow opens it. Judging by that, it actually just had like a bar going across it on the other side, and Halligan lifted it up, I guess. But he could have just reached through and done that. Oh, if you think that was bad, just wait. We are about to commit actual crimes and logic crimes. It's going to be great. Yeah, I spent about an hour doing that, and when I figured it out, I just walked off camera.
Hello, I'm back.
Damn quiet, I said.
Oh, I've had a look round the area. I've been to the room.
And? Oh?
Quietly.
Precise.
Right, we need to ask quietly.
I'd like to speak
We need to ask about fishing.
What would you like to know?
Are there many fish here? Have you caught anything?
When it is quiet enough, then I catch quite a few, so please speak quietly.
Why? Do fish have such good ears?
You bet. A single murmur and I'll have to sit here for an hour longer waiting for them.
Why are you fishing? The ship, isn't it?
Nah,
We're just going to skip through most of this.
What do you eat? Of course.
Well, they didn't.
But
I like
yes.
What are you planning?
That's why I bought this rod.
You expect me to...
Of course. I swear it. I even had some photos of one of those fish.
If only a fishing minigame would improve this greatly.
Right here.
And now there's not a shred of evidence to support your story. That is a pity.
Don't you believe me? Ask Capitaine Deneuve. He will confirm it. I often show you the fish that I catch.
So this gives us the opportunity to talk to the boat captain.
Who's that?
Oh, you don't know him?
Because we asked about fishing. Makes sense.
On board. He's experienced a lot and has been all over the place. He knows a lot of stories. Incredible stories.
Oh? Like what, for example?
You'll have to ask him that yourself. I never really listened properly. He's bound to...
We just have to learn how to talk to him.
How to deal with him.
Not so loud.
Because of the...
No.
And?
Look, Deneuve's a bit strange. He insists on being addressed by his title. It's a... how do you call it? A peculiarity of his.
Oh? Why is that?
He's an old sea dog from a real old seafaring family. Some ancestor of his served in Napoleon's fleet. He himself used to go out to sea,
very boring.
seeing the
Continue,
world,
please.
so he says, but he still insists on people using his title. He says his rank should still command people's respect.
Oh, well, if that's all, I don't mind. What do I have to call him, then?
Monsieur le Capitaine Charles Deneuve. That's his full title. He'll appreciate that.
Got it. Thanks for the hint.
If there was a fishing minigame in this, I can only imagine what level of moon logic would be required to fish.
Excuse me? What? You're Monsieur le Capitaine Charles.
And now we know how to talk to the captain.
Yes, that is correct, my boy. Charles, how do you know?
I've been talking to a...
Here? I expect he has been telling you about his pike. The one that was 5 meters long.
Yes, he did. Is his story true?
To be honest with you, my boy, the pike was about 4.5 meters.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Later I have a small house.
Tell me more about Pierre. So he
used... Now, they meet...
Doesn't he?
No. A few... His...
I'm being slightly careful here, as this is one of the points it is kind of possible to soft-lock things a little bit.
Monsieur le Capitaine...
What can I...
I've got a... Pierre says...
Yes, later I have a...
You...
Yeah, I have seen things no other man on
Also,
earth
we can get some ridiculous stories from him, and that's kind of entertaining, so let's do that.
Was a long time ago.
Your memoirs? That sounds interesting.
Oh, yes, my boy. I've seen a lot, you know. Disasters.
Really?
I have seen ships disappear in the Bermuda Triangle. I saw the Prince of Egypt sink. I witnessed the accident of the Pride of Paris in Cape Town Harbor.
You were in all those places?
Of course. And that's not all. I have seen tsunamis 40 meters high and octopuses with 16 tentacles.
I thought octopuses only had 8 tentacles.
Quite, my boy, quite. I have seen things a common landlubber, no offense, my boy, cannot even begin to imagine. Octopuses with twice the normal number of tentacles. What do you say to that?
Well, that's quite incredible. What do you know about the castle of...
The castle?
That's
precisely, but none of it is as...
Tell me...
The castle of...
Oh, yes.
We're going to skip through this. The Druids went to the castle and hid something there. The evil lord did stuff.
How do you know?
From 8 children,
An aristocrat from England came here.
What did the man want?
He said he'd lost something out at the ruin. A necklace, a family heirloom. It seems to have been very important.
Oh my, could that have been?
The 5 of them spent days searching the ruins.
5?
Yes.
5 English people investigating the ruins looking for an amulet. I wonder who those could have been.
One even had a uniform on.
Did they find the necklace?
No, I don't think so. They left after a couple of days.
Well, those sound like our druids. We've finally got a concrete lead.
Do you know his name?
No, I've forgotten. It was quite a while ago.
Well, obviously our next step then is to go to the bistro where they stayed, find out more about them, get any records, investigate who they were. No, that's actual police work. We're not going to do that. We're going to commit crimes.
Excuse me, Pierre.
Yes? Now what?
I'd like to ask you something about Captain...
Have you...
Yes, I have.
What we need to do here is,
Can you really believe...
Well, 50...
Certainly.
I don't... You'll have to make...
Ask him about how he gets on with the captain.
Is he a friend of yours?
Friend? Yes.
Do you get on well with each other? I should think it's pretty difficult being friends with a man like him.
Oh, we get on rather well, really. We don't talk much, you know. If anything, he does the talking. Spins his yarns. The only thing about him that sometimes drives me crazy is his damned cat.
The captain has a cat?
Yes. He lets her out here on the jetty in the morning and takes her back.
The cat, who is not seen until you have this conversation.
All day slinking around here.
You don't like cats?
I hate cats. They steal the fish from my bucket.
Screw you two.
Up in my fishing line. The nerves creature has often knocked my bucket of bait over.
I take personal offence to this.
More. I've told him hundreds of times to take the animal on the ferry with him, but he just won't do it.
Okay. Thank you for your assistance.
No problem. You're welcome.
This will spawn the cat appearing. We need to catch this cat. To do this, we need to stand over here. Now, what inventory item could we possibly use to catch this cat? I mean, we've got carbon paper, grass, a bone, gloves. They might be helpful so that we could grab it without being scratched. But the obvious logical choice, probably, is the scarf. And this is a timed and positioning puzzle, which makes it awful. You might think, okay, the scarf, that makes some logical sense. We need to, you know, attract the cat by dangling the scarf so that it will jump at that and then we can pick it up or something. You would be wrong. This is much, much stupider. We do, however, have to wait back here for the cat to spawn. This takes a little time. It's on a cycle, and the positioning is kind of weird for this too. It goes around there and then pauses, and then it will come out and pause in front of the lamppost. If we are not behind here, it will leave when it sees us approaching. This is one of only 2 puzzles in the entire game that rely on Halligan standing in a specific spot. No, that is much more sane than what we actually do, Dragon Lord Carter. This is just... what? Any minute now. There is no way to speed this up, unfortunately. I can possibly walk around there a bit too much, but I'm slightly wary of... So, the solution is... just drop the scarf on it. I don't know in what universe you can capture a cat by just dropping a scarf on it and it won't leave, wriggle out.
Captain Deneuve's cat, a rather stubborn beast, and on top of that it has fleas as well.
So anyway, now we'll let the cat loose.
There! Did you see that? Did you see that? It's that damn cat again. She's knocked all my
For the stupidest of reasons, Mick.
Time this week.
Calm down. You can always get some new baits.
What about my fishing tackle? What about my telescope ultralight 47 for 800 francs? I can't leave it here unguarded. It could be stolen.
This is true.
Everything with me.
Your fishing rod might be stolen if you leave it here.
Don't worry, Pierre. I'll keep an eye on your things.
Would you?
Of course. No problem.
I'm a police officer. You can trust me.
Right now.
Oh, we are 100% stealing the rod. And the bucket. And we are not giving them back. So, we have now stolen an 800 francs fishing rod and a bucket. The reason we have done this is so that we can go over here, to the side of the boat, where salt is encrusted on it. And we can then use the fishing rod and the bucket to scrape bits of the salt off the side of the boat. How many crimes are we up to now, out of interest? Okay, well, we're about to commit another one, so that's fine. We need to go back to the castle, because we need to find the Amulet of Transformation, which is not a terrible idea, don't worry about it. And yes, there is no other way we could get salt in a town in France. Also, we don't ever need the fishing rod again after this game, but we cannot give it back to the fisherman or replace it or anything like that, because Halligan is a dick. I mean, I feel like kidnapping the cat is probably something animal cruelty or something. A suspicious person in a black shirt. That couldn't possibly be some sort of druid agent keeping an eye on us. We need to go to one of these gravestones.
Gravestone.
Which is kind of weather-beaten, and we need to take the salt and put it in the little divot on top of the gravestone. We've also taken evidence from a crime scene. I don't know whether that's a crime or not, but we probably shouldn't have done it. However, using the evidence for this is probably a crime. Because at this point, we're going to use this like a mortar and pestle and use the bone and the divot in the top of the gravestone to grind the salt into fine powder. Now that we have the salt as a fine powder, this puzzle kind of makes sense in context, but I'm not going to explain the context because it's way funnier that way. We need to go over to this way? There are two areas in this game where I routinely get lost because of weird camera changes, and this is one of them. This way.
Mausoleum. I expect the Lord of the Castle's buried in there.
Well, we have no way of interacting with it, so how on earth are we going to get in there? The correct answer, obviously, is throw salt at it.
Seems to have worked.
Okay, so now we can add destruction of historical monuments to our list of crimes. This is partly explained in a side conversation you can have, where it explains that the
This must be the amulet. I found it.
Well done, Halligan. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to this, especially not with this shifty-looking man running away from us. Now, one of the conversations you can have basically says that the Lord of the Manor was killed when he turned away a beggar who asked for a drink of water. And the beggar knew something about druid magic and how salt could be used to destroy buildings. Halligan knows nothing about druid magic, so this shouldn't have worked, but yeah, you just lob salt at it. And, yeah. The beggar threw salt at the castle, it collapsed, and it killed the Lord of the Manor, so I'm not sure how he's entombed in that mausoleum, but hey. But it's far funnier out of context. Sadly, this will never work again, and we need to break into several more buildings in this game without a warrant. I'm also not sure why we had to crush the salt into a powder to do this, because it would have been easier to throw in the huge lumps. At this point, we have done, I believe, everything we need to do in France. I'm going to quickly check my notes to make sure. Yeah, we're good. For the sake of it, I'm going to make a safety save regardless. I don't trust this game.
Capitaine, what can I do for you?
Well, before I get deported, I'd like to flee the country, please.
When are you leaving for Portsmouth?
In 2 hours. Are you coming?
Yes.
Then come aboard.
This time we actually get to go onto the ship.
Hold on. I think I'd better leave the amulet in the cabin. I might lose it otherwise. Or it might be stolen. But
yes,
where can I put it?
It's definitely safer where you can't see it. The drawer, maybe? No. No, that's much too obvious a place. What about the tiny vent up here? Also, let's take a look at what's in the cupboard. Because this is apparently what Halligan brought with him on his day excursion to France.
My spare suit, just in case.
A spare suit, shoes, bag, yeah. So, we will hide the amulet in this vent where no one will ever find it. There we go, the amulet is totally safe and cannot be stolen now.
Perfect. I think I'll go and get some fresh air. I'm feeling a bit easy.
We definitely weren't followed around by a suspicious person who saw us take the amulet.
God, what's been going on here?
Oh,
Someone's
no.
broken into my cabin and searched through all my things.
Who could have seen this happening?
The amulet. Where's the amulet? It's been stolen. I don't believe it.
Fortunately, there is a clue here for us, which has a very tiny hotspot.
This is evidence. Blast it. The thief must still be on board. But we're pulling into the harbour. I'll never catch him now.
If only Halligan was a police officer who could, for instance, cordon off the area, prevent anyone from leaving the ferry, you know, do anything of the sort? No. Halligan is really bad at his job, and being a detective does literally nothing for him the entire game. Remember, even Melanie wouldn't let him into the museum when he said he was a detective who needed to speak to an anthropologist. So, let's go and see what our good friend Chris has to say about the pine needles we found. We may need to go and talk to Arthur Blake first, actually, but let's see if we can do this.
How'd you get on with Miss Turner? Are you going to see her again?
You could say that.
What? Really? Congratulations, mate!
Thank you. Thank you.
And could she help you with the bones?
I think so. I'm on a new trail.
I see. Sounds mysterious.
It is, Chris, it is. Perhaps I'll tell you when I find out more.
All right, Halligan. Good luck anyway.
Thanks.
Let's see if we can get him to, if I can find the pine needles in my inventory. I have to be very careful with the inventory because it goes over here. The mouse is not bound to the side of the window, so I can very easily click off the window and that will crash the game.
Chris, take a look at these. Could they be useful?
Oh, fir needles for a change. I have to say, you've not been showing me the most spectacular things recently.
I know, Chris, but these needles may be important. I found them in my cabin on the crossing from France to England.
So what? What are you trying to tell me?
I was robbed there.
Ha-ha! Detective Halligan robbed on holiday. Don't tell anybody here in the department.
All right, Chris, don't make a big thing of it.
And what do the needles have to do with it?
They might help me find the culprit.
What? Halligan, you're so naive. Do you know how many conifers there are in the world?
Except that Halligan gets absolutely no respect from anyone.
Perhaps there are special types.
Yes, that's right. But it won't help you. Perhaps you could narrow down the number of suspects to just one continent. That would be a great help.
I love the snark in this.
You can throw these needles away. You won't catch anybody with them.
Please examine them nevertheless.
All right, but I've told you that it won't help at all. Just a moment. I'll have a look at them right now.
Also,
wow.
I don't think forensic scientists usually know this much about botany.
Their shape is atypical, and they're very big. Perhaps they're from Asia. But I can't tell you that exactly.
Oh, that's a start.
Sure, Halligan. With that, you can narrow down the circle of suspects to a very small group. All the inhabitants of Asia plus tourists.
Okay. Perhaps it was a stupid idea.
Right. Was that all, Brent? Because because I've got other things to examine besides fir needles.
Yeah, thanks. That was it.
The problem is, Halligan deserves this. Oh hey, photocopier. Alright, let's go and talk to Arthur Blake. We will then learn some information that we really probably should have been told about before. I love doing the photocopier just as new people wander into chat who haven't seen it before.
Hello, Mr. Blake. I'm back.
And? Did you find the amulet?
That's a long story.
Well, go on then. I can't wait to hear what happened.
I found the amulet. It was walled up in the Lord's mausoleum.
Really? It really does exist then. And you've got it. Show me.
Well, I did have it, but it was stolen from me.
Stolen?
It's also worth noting, part of the reason why this is a showcase rather than a speedrun is the speedrun actually ends about 40% through the game.
Was anything else missing?
No.
You'll find out why when we get there.
Must have been following you.
I didn't notice anyone. Who could have
Thank you
known
very
I'd
much,
been looking for
Nakarashi.
an amulet in that godforsaken dump.
Certain people may be taking a great interest in your investigations, Mr. Halligan. Do not underestimate the power of the Druids.
Again, there is so much that Halligan could have investigated there as a police officer, but no.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it was just a case of ordinary petty theft.
I very much doubt it, Mr. Halligan. Nobody else knew of our conversation. You were followed. And now the amulet has fallen into the wrong hands. Now nothing can stop the perfection of the ritual.
I haven't met anyone who looked like a druid so far.
No, Mr. Halligan. You won't recognize they're people, just like you and me. They could be powerful industrialists, high-ranking politicians, or influential military men. People in key positions.
Literally all three of those are indeed
I can't possibly
druids.
check up on the entire upper class of British society looking for a couple of druids.
No, but it may be worth
Vengeful
your while
Blade, you
to
are
keep an eye
not
on
wrong.
groups of neo-druids. If anyone
That said,
to justify their claims to the druids' inheritance, they will.
It does turn out to be useful, but again, in a really stupid way.
Neo-druids? What are they?
There are a number of groups around claiming to be the Druids' rightful successors. They're organized in orders, like Templars or Freemasons.
Do you know the names of any of these groups?
Certainly. My book describes many of them.
I'm not reading
I
a
don't
book.
believe any of these groups would go...
Thank you, Mr. Blake.
Very well, Mr. We'll go on then.
I found...
Show me.
Well,
Now we need to go through this conversation again, because I clicked the wrong one, apparently.
Mr. Blake.
The amulet, believe me.
I thought that...
But see, just as they are among us now.
I haven't...
No, they're people...
What? I can't...
No, if... They're not...
Tell me more about these neo-druids.
Like I said, some of them do, but there are some really... Rumors say that there's such a sect at large.
So when he said he didn't know the name of any of them...
In London, you said? Do you know where I might find these people?
I've no idea. All I know is that the only people who know anything about the Order refer to it as the Circle.
So, he doesn't know the name of any of them, except for the one called the Circle.
Don't hesitate to call on me, anytime you like.
One more thing, Mr. Blake.
Yes?
I get the impression this business could get pretty dangerous from now on.
Yes. Very likely, Mr. Halligan.
It may be safer for both of us if we let someone else in on the matter. Please call Melanie Turner in
Yes,
Oxford.
let's put someone else in danger.
Make sure she
Excellent idea, officer.
She works at the Anthropological
Detective.
Museum. Her number's in the phone book. And tell her I'll get in touch with her myself as soon as possible. Would you do that for me?
As soon as people let me use the phone again.
Good luck.
I may have to find another beggar. Guess what, everybody? Do you know what we get to do now? It's solve another really stupid puzzle. Which is mostly... This puzzle largely exists because Halligan is an awful human being.
Halligan, into my office at once!
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
There is actually a good part of this puzzle. Like, There is something here which I would actually classify as a solid adventure game puzzle.
Come on in.
But first,
you should be glad that you drop in now and then.
What's the matter, Chief?
You know, Halligan, I was just asking myself what you've been doing.
I've been investigating, Chief.
Well, have you? And do you know what I've been doing? I've been dismissing loads of press people, worried citizens, and politicians from my office. The phone hasn't stopped ringing since this morning. The mayor's been to my office, and I haven't seen much of you. When do you expect to come up with results?
Let's bear in mind that we've probably been on this case for about 7 hours at this point,
You'll
if
get a
that.
report at the end of the week.
The end of
Like,
the
it
week?
hasn't actually been a day yet.
Month or at the end of the year. I want the results on my desk tomorrow
And he's
morning,
complaining
Halligan.
that
Now,
we've been
I want to know where you've been
out of the
this
office.
You'll find out when you read the report I'm going to write.
Don't be impertinent, Detective. As your chief, I'm entitled to ask you about the results of investigations and your proceedings whenever I like.
Yes, Chief, of course.
That sounds better. Otherwise, I could have you write a report about every single step of your proceedings, and I think you know that.
Very well, then. I was visiting an expert on Druids.
You were what? Halligan, have you lost your marbles? You're not supposed to be indulging in your hobbies. You're supposed to be solving the skeleton murders.
Is that all, Chief?
No, that is not all. One of the phone calls this morning was from the 4th District in Oxford.
Uh-huh. And?
Dr. Festi, hello.
He claimed that somebody had first put him to sleep and then robbed him. And do you know who that person was? No? A man who calls himself Detective Halligan! Our colleagues looked into the Central Personal Database, and guess what? They found a man by the name of Detective
Actual
Halligan,
consequences
and he
for our
works
crimes.
for my department. What do you say to that?
Chief, the beggar must be mistaken. It's a mix-up.
A mix-up? I hope so. If these accusations turn out to be true, you can spend the rest of your professional life washing police cars.
I actually really like this callback.
When did you receive the phone call?
Less than half an hour ago. The colleague I talked to said that the beggar still had some of the substance he'd been knocked out with. Medical alcohol with apple juice. Halligan, please tell me you didn't do it.
I had nothing to do with it, Chief. Honestly.
Well, I hope so, for your benefit.
This is a
From
face
now
you
on,
can
I
trust.
expect you to start looking into the case at hand.
Okay, Chief. I read you.
Indeed? Excellent, Detective. Then get out and do your job. And Halligan, if I should hear that you are conducting your investigations in any dubious or illegal way...
Literally
I'll take you off
everything
the case
Halligan
immediately.
does is dubious, illegal, or at the very least immoral. We're going to go and photocopy ourselves again. Because it makes me feel better. Oh, okay. We need to get information about the circle. This is going to be a problem, because Halligan is an awful human being.
Hello, Janet.
Hello, Brent.
You know what? Let's ask Janet out on a date first.
Nice day today, isn't it?
Also,
Don't trouble
Janet's
yourself, Brent.
bones bend in interesting ways.
You think going to the cinema with me is that bad? Okay then, no cinema. Why don't we just go down to the King's pub, have a pint and talk for a bit?
Listen, Brent, I don't feel like going to a stinky, cheap pub, drinking watery beer and talking about
Her
dark
neck and her arms.
aliens.
Janet, what's up? Has Lowry been talking nonsense about me again?
No, Halligan, and he doesn't need to either. You talk enough of it yourself. And now, please be good enough to let me carry on with my job, okay?
Calm, Janet. I'd just like to sit at your terminal for 5 minutes. No more.
You're not allowed at my terminal, Brent. Not for 5 minutes, not for 1 minute, not at all. You know that. After your last inquiries, the Chief has ordered that you need official permission in future. It's bad manners to use a police computer for sick jokes about the royal family.
Damn bureaucracy. I need
I will
to make an
explain
inquiry, Janet.
what Halligan did
now.
in a
If you
moment.
start shouting at me, I shall see the Chief before you can count to 3. Do you understand? And now leave here, please. Come back when you've got the necessary forms. Here.
I am
Sheet and get it
extremely
signed.
flexible. Like, I can get my feet behind my head, but... yeah, so what Halligan did was, after Princess Di's car accident, Halligan put out an arrest warrant for Prince Charles as a joke. Now he's not allowed anywhere near the police database.
Tell me, have you been to the hairdressers, Janet? Looks really great.
How stupid do you think I am, Brent Halligan? Do you think you can bribe me with compliments? Well, you can't know me very well. Without the forms, you won't get any inquiries here. Whatever you whisper into my ear.
Good. See you later, then.
Take your time, Brent.
Now, unfortunately, the Chief is not going to actually help us because that would be useful. So we are going to have to forge a signature, sort of. So what we want to do is take the actual form and put it on the clipboard. Take the carbon paper and put it over the actual form, and then take a request for stationery. Put that over that, because we might be able to get that signed.
Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement, the carbon paper, and the form for stationery procurement. But the carbon paper juts out a bit. That will be noticed.
If only we had a pair of scissors. But we don't. Lowry has them. Now, it looks like we've got messages on our phone. 6 of them. Let's have a listen to these.
Hello, sir. This is Al's Pizza Palace. Your account from last quarter has not yet been paid. It amounts to £275. Please see to it within the next few days.
This was the year 2000. Things were considerably cheaper then.
£275? Wow, that's my personal record.
Halligan is a dick.
Hello, Mr. Halligan. This is Melanie Turner speaking. I was wondering why I hadn't heard from you, but Mr. Blake just called and told me everything. I'm out and about quite a lot at the moment, and you may have difficulties trying to get me on the phone. But if you need me, just leave a message.
The funny thing about this, Dr. Festi, is that this game is actually German. And yet, it is surprisingly English, you are not wrong.
Let me give you some good advice, Detective Halligan. Don't interfere with our affairs. It wouldn't be very healthy.
What? Who was that?
Well, it's a good thing we're a police officer, and therefore we can probably have that call traced, figured out where it came from, and no, of course we're not going to do any of that.
Halligan? This is Miller. Damn it, where are you? Do I have to speak to this damned answering machine if I want to get hold of you? If by any chance you happen to turn up in this department, I want to see you in my office.
You are not wrong, Dr. Festi.
Miller speaking. I've had enough. You better come to my office as soon as possible. Did you get that?
The Chief. I'm glad I've got that behind me.
Pizza party at my house later. Sorry, pizza party. I forgot Halligan's pronunciation of this.
Brent? Hello? Is that you? It's your mother. You know,
I'm going to pour myself a drink while we play out this ridiculous conversation.
I haven't heard anything from you for months now, Brent. Is that any way to treat your mother? Aunt Annie's celebrating her 75th birthday at the weekend. We have both been invited. You will come, won't you? Brent? And please, wear something smart. Do me a favor.
Oh, God. That's all I need.
Okay, we've actually got a good puzzle here. Genuinely, this may surprise you, there are a few of them in this game. We've got no dial tone. This is something we could have discovered earlier if we'd tried to call the Anthropological Museum, but that wastes time. And we are doing enough things that waste time, but that's because they're funnier.
What is it this time, Halligan?
Lowry continues to float because he is an amazing wizard.
Have you ever heard of an organisation called The Circle?
The Circle? Is that somehow connected to the crop circles?
Okay, forget it, Lowry. I know that you'll say no, but I have to ask for your help.
You do actually need help, Halligan. But not from me. Try a social worker. Well?
Could I just use your phone?
Haven't you got your own telephone, Halligan?
Yes, but there's something not quite right with it.
No dialing tone. Is that it?
Tell me, Lowry, what's your extension?
196. You know that.
Yes, right. I just forgotten it. I don't phone you so very often.
Yeah, and that's the way I like it, Halligan. Don't you dare start ringing me up and getting on my nerves.
How do you know that?
Someone in accounts has had a look at the...
There is a Steam review of this game,
You're a record holder by a very,
and it
very
is...
wide margin.
I usually don't like Steam reviews. I usually don't like the ones that attempt to be funny.
Anyway, the Caribbean...
I don't think that's got anything to do.
But this one is glorious because it is just Lowry floating above his desk
but if you think that you can make
in ASCII form with a pair of scissors and a speech bubble saying "Women like winners, Halligan."
Okay, I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
Yeah, Halligan's not allowed to do anything, and the chief will not sign the information procurement form. Because Halligan is a terrible human being and honestly kind of deserves this. Okay. We need to go back one phone call. This is a solid puzzle.
Scotland Yard Detective Lowry. Miller speaking. I've had enough.
And then we play this answering
come to
machine
my office
message.
as soon as possible. Did you get that?
Oh, of course, sir. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
So, that gets Lowry out of his office, and again, this is a puzzle that makes logical sense. It's a good puzzle. I like it. And now we can steal his scissors. We did all that to steal a pair of scissors because we have no other way of acquiring scissors anywhere. There we go, perfect. Are we up to 9 crimes now? We need to duck in here so that Lowry can leave the chief's office off screen. And we can go in there. And because the chief won't sign the information procurement, maybe he'll sign a different form instead.
Chief, I've got an 88M9 order form for stationery here.
For stationery? You need new stationery again? Halligan, you'll lead this department to financial ruin someday, do you know that?
Yes, sir. No, sir, it's nothing extravagant. I could do with a new pencil sharpener, that's all.
You would think that Halligan could have just used this to ask for a pair of scissors.
Its own money. Every month the accounts department gives me a hard time because of the deficit. Our budget for office costs is limited.
I know, Chief, but I'm not able to work without a minimum of stationery. Here, I've prepared this for you. You just need to sign it.
Okay then. Okay, give it to me.
That's the chief's water cooler dispenser thing.
But that's the last time, do you understand? You'll have to buy the next sharpener from your own money.
All right, Chief.
Anything else, Detective?
No, that was it.
That's good. You know the way out, don't you, Detective?
Of course, Chief.
All right. And with that, we can finally get some information from the computers. But first, we're going to photocopy our face again. Because we are not going to have many more opportunities to do this over the course of the game. We are nearly done with Scotland Yard. We can now go back to Janet. We can give her the form that we totally...
That's a form for information procurement.
Forge or get via... Is forgery the correct term?
It's me again, Janet.
Hello, Brent. How's your case going? Have you got any further yet?
I can't resist.
Did you miss me?
Well, it was nice and quiet without you, Halligan. Lowry was in real trouble with the chief, but apart from that, heavenly peace.
Fraud, that's the term.
Lowry's had bother with the chief. What happened?
I don't know exactly. It was strange. The chief didn't want to see Lowry for a whole day, but Lowry still came into his office because he thought that the chief had called him. I don't know what was going on there. Well, Brent, what do you need?
I'm looking for information about a group called The Circle.
The Circle? Just a sec. It won't take a moment. Yes, we've got something in the database about them. Let me see.
It might do. It's probably a compound crime, yeah.
Neo-Druids. Their head office is in London. The head of the group is called Lord Sinclair.
Do we know about anyone with a criminal record within the group?
Now, just give me a second, Brent. Somebody once filed a complaint against Lord Sinclair for disturbing the nightly peace.
Is that all?
No, hang on. Oh, some months ago, a gardener was killed on Sinclair's estate. The murderer was never found. After the murder, Lord Sinclair and his order were under surveillance for some time, but there was nothing conspicuous to be found.
Ah.
Lord Sinclair is...
Anything else?
You will see him shortly, but he is the most evil-looking person imaginable.
No, nothing else.
Could you please print that out for me?
Of course. Would you mind telling me what these Neo-Druids have to do with your case? Is this one of your usual mad ideas?
Yes.
I don't think so. I'll have a closer look at these people anyway.
Well then, happy hunting.
Good. Thanks a lot, Janet. I have to go.
Okay, Brent. See you later.
Alright, we now know where to find the Neo-Druids. First things first, though, we have to actually use the photocopier. If Janet did actually give us the printout, or do I have to go and pick that up? Look, I've been up way too long and slept far too little. There are going to be points in this where I forget to pick up items. I'm sorry. But we need to photocopy this for reasons that are not immediately apparent until we discover that we need a photocopy and have to come back here. Don't worry, we will improperly use the photocopier one last time. Enjoy it. This is the last time. Unless I've forgotten something, which is entirely possible because my brain is very much not in a working state, we have done everything we need to do at Scotland Yard. For the entire game. Next thing, we need to go to the Museum of Oxford again. Melanie isn't there and the door is locked again. We can go and see the beggar again. But what we actually need to do is post the photocopy through the slot so that Melanie knows where we've gone.
That'll do it. That should be enough for Ms. Turner to find me in case something happens to me.
Why on earth would something happen to you? You're just going to march up to the apparent order of leader of the Order of Neo-Druids who are murdering people and plotting to take over the world. Hello.
Hello? Haven't seen you for a while.
You get lost, you crook. You nicked all my pennies. Me last 60 pence. It's bad enough I get robbed and the police do nothing about it. Now you coppers are nicking the stuff yourselves.
Hey, you shouldn't see it like that. Let's say it was business. I really needed money for the phone, and you got my lovely homemade schnapps in return.
There. Gorgeous schnapps. That stuff wiped me out straight. I want nothing to do with you, mate. Get lost.
That is the correct response to Detective Halligan going anywhere near you. There is no world record for this, because the speedrun ends very shortly. For reasons you will discover very shortly. But hey, here's Lord Sinclair's place. It's very nice. Let's see if we can get in.
Yes? Who's there?
Is that Lord Sinclair?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I am his lordship's butler.
Halligan could not find 60p of his own. Halligan is terrible.
Scotland Yard. Please open the door.
I regret that his lordship does not receive beggars, salesmen, and police officers as a matter of principle, sir.
That is a good principle to have.
Lord Sinclair is not at home at present.
Oh, really? No beggars and police officers, right? In the name of the law, open the door. Otherwise, I'll kick it down.
Mr. Excuse me, what was your name?
Lowry. Say it's Lowry.
Detective Halligan from Scotland Yard.
Oh, you idiot.
Detective Halligan, Am I correct in assuming that you do not possess a search warrant?
Well...
Then I would like to remind you that violent and unauthorized intrusion onto the estate can be prosecuted.
If that's the way you want it, all right then. I'll be back. You can be sure of that.
Of course, sir. Thank you for your visit. Have a nice day.
Please remember two things. Firstly, that we've been refused entry, and secondly, that Halligan told them his name. Let's go and have a chat with this nice gardener over here. Hey, butlering's a good job.
Hello. Nice day today, isn't it?
Yeah, the weather's great. Just right for a walk.
Yes, that's what I thought.
That is not a good West Country accent.
I didn't want to sit in the office any longer on such a wonderful autumn day.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Panda, we're going to do more than just commit a B&E.
Oh, I work with the agricultural office. Administration of public areas, that kind of thing. You know.
Well, that's clearly impersonation of an official.
Is there something wrong with Lord Sinclair's gardens?
No, everything's fine. I'm here on a private visit. I just wanted to get some fresh air.
We've got some good crimes coming up.
You work for Lord Sinclair?
Yes, I'm his guard. He needs somebody.
We'll skip through some of this.
Can I help you? I like gardening.
That's nice of you. Lord Sinclair
When did you start?
Oh, only a few months ago. The position became
tragic accident.
A tragic accident.
What kind of accident?
Lord Sinclair's last gardener was murdered.
Terrible accident. He was accidentally murdered.
He was found on the estate, directly under the window of Lord Sinclair's study. His lordship found him himself.
And how did he die?
Well, that was a terrible thing. He was literally slashed. Some madman must have crept onto the estate.
Does his lordship have any enemies?
Well, rich people are always his lordship, but people tell the most horrible stories about him here in the
Horrible stories?
And somebody even sent the police.
The police?
To his house.
Really? And why?
Because of the screams.
Screams? What kind of screams?
His lordship and his friends sometimes go into the forest and do strange screaming exercises.
Pardon me?
Yes, it's just some strange...
It's just a weird quirk. They go into the forest and do screaming.
You said
Don't worry about it.
Call the police.
Yes, but of course they couldn't find anything. His lordship was questioned and fined, I think. But not because of the screams, because of the animal trophies in his drawing room.
It was because he hadn't got a shooting license, wasn't it?
Yes, I think that's right. How did you know?
Oh, I just guessed. How big is this piece of land?
At least 10,000 square meters, I would say.
Would you show me the grounds?
Oh, I would like to do that.
Alright, that's enough information.
I have to go.
Thanks.
So, let's cause some problems. We should commit some crimes.
A lot of cut grass.
We'll start with arson. Well, he's off. Now we can steal his shears. We're just going to leave that burning. I'm sure it won't cause some sort of forest fire. We're fine. We need to find a way to break into this mansion. Only the stupidest of ways will suffice. Let's start by using these shears. Ah, nice electric fence.
Do not touch it. It could be electrified. I bet this Lord Sinclair is prepared for unwelcome visitors.
Well, let's cut that open with the shears then. Ah, we've broken them.
The shears are broken.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we've got a backup pair of cutty things.
Now the scissors are broken as well, but the hole should be big enough now.
You remember when we told Lowry that we weren't going to break his scissors? Well, we can push this open now. We can also take this tiny piece of wire here that you can barely see and which is almost impossible to register as a hotspot. And now we have to do something kind of also exceptionally stupid, which is we wrap the scarf in an evidence bag, and then we use that as kind of a mattress to cover up the lower bit there. And now before we do anything else, I'm going to save. Just because suspicion of potential soft lock. Breaking and entering now.
How do you do, Mr. Halligan? How nice of you to visit us.
You know my name?
Yes, you announced yourself at the front door.
Lord Sinclair has been expecting you.
He has? Is that boss of yours some kind of psychic or what?
Why don't you ask him that yourself? Let's go.
I'm sorry, there's still like 2.5 hours of this game left, I think. If I'm mathsing correctly. Also, again, I'm going to let this cutscene play out. I'm going to run to the toilet very, very quickly because my stomach is slightly knackered at the moment. But yes, he was expecting us, but we still weren't allowed in at the front door.
Mr. Halligan, it is a great pleasure to meet you in person at long last.
The most obviously evil person you will ever see in your life. Possibly a Sith Lord.
Charming pet gorilla here to point his damn pistol somewhere else.
And I'll be back in a moment while we watch this.
Precautionary measure, Mr. Halligan. I happen to be a distrustful man. Jack.
Lord Sinclair, now that we've met, there are a few questions I'd really like to ask you.
Certainly, certainly. After dinner I will answer any questions you deign to ask me. Until then, please be my guest. Jack, please be good enough to show our guest to his chamber.
You do not seem to be quite aware of the situation you are in, Lord Sinclair. I'm a detective from Scotland Yard. I don't want to have dinner with you. I'm here because of a series of murders in which you are a prime suspect.
With all due respect, Mr. Halligan, I took you for a wiser man than that. If anyone here is unaware of the situation they are in, you are. I have asked you to be my guest at dinner. Please don't disappoint me by refusing. Otherwise, I will have to ask Jack here to persuade you to stay in his own way.
I understand. I'm to stay here voluntarily, because if I don't, you'll force me. Is that it?
I'm glad we've settled that. Now, if you would please follow my friend Jack, he will show you to your room. We will discuss everything else in detail later, over dinner.
Let's go.
Perfectly timed.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Locked up in Lord Sinclair's house.
Yeah, this, you really should go to bed, but this gets so much stupider in about 3 minutes. But yeah, just bear in mind, he apparently wanted us here, despite making a anonymous threatening phone call to us at our office, and then refusing to let us in. But now he's very happy we're here. We look at the picture and Halligan stares at it for so long that it turns to night. Halligan is clearly a big fan of art.
Night has arrived. That's all I needed.
Now we're going to steal the picture. Now we're going to use the picture to prise this nail out of the wall. This does not hang up the picture again, as you might expect. This puzzle upsets me in so many ways. Let's take a quick look out the window.
I can feel that something's going on out there.
So, also I can barely see the screen because the sun is shining directly through my window. You know how adventure game puzzles have the traditional puzzle of a door is locked, the lock is in the keyhole on the other side. You put a newspaper under the door and push something through the keyhole, key falls on newspaper, pull it back, you get the key. This is that puzzle, but they made it worse.
Can't do anything without the key.
And I also
This door looks really
can't see the keyhole because the sun is too bright.
This door, look, the keyhole is dark. I think there's something in it on the other side.
So, we've got this huge gap under the door. First of all, we'll use the nail to take the picture out of the picture frame. But we can't actually fit that under this giant inch-long gap under the door. So first of all, we need to use the nail to scrape away the tile grouting. And then remove the tiles. Very, very slowly. And then a scream.
What was that?
It's fine, it's just the
Somebody's screaming out there in the forest.
Just the screaming exercises, don't worry about it.
What the hell's going on out there? I have to get out of here.
I don't know if any crimes we commit here in aiding our escape technically count, unless this is a citizen's arrest, in which case they definitely do. Now we slide the picture under there, and as you can see there is significant clearance there, and we didn't really need to remove those, and we can use the nail if I can find the hotspot, which I totally can't. Is it the nail? Is it the wire? Let me check my notes. It is the nail. I just cannot actually see the hotspot because game. There it is. There. We found it. I'm gonna have to close the curtains.
Here we are, the key.
Also, content warning for the cutscene coming up. If you're eating breakfast or something, this is a bit gory. Personally, I find it more hilarious and over the top than anything. Not everyone does, so yeah, content warning. Where the hell is the hotspot? There it is. And last, we're free. We can now leave. We can call for backup. We can get people here and we can find them in the course of whatever they're doing and put a stop to them completely. But we're not going to do that because we're Halligan. We're just going to go and investigate and see what's going on. Content warning for the upcoming cutscene as soon as we walk out of this door.
Hey, what the...
This might actually be horrifying if, one, you were eating bacon, or two, it wasn't for the kind of over-the-top screaming. No, we're British police, we don't have guns. Anyway, Halligan has a panic attack and passes out. And then wakes up to find finely cut meat on a plate. at dinner table. There's nothing suspicious about this. Not to Ace Detective Halligan, anyway.
Mr. Halligan, I don't believe I have introduced you to the gentlemen of my club yet. This is General Myers of the British Army. Next to him is Bishop Stevenson. The Earl of Sutcliffe, one of the Queen's closest advisors. And the gentleman sitting beside you is Mr. Smothers of the Worldwide Foods Corporation. I'm sure you're curious to learn what our club is all about. But I would suggest you have a bite to eat first. You look pale.
Yes, there is nothing suspicious about this meat.
You see, Mr. Halligan, you must know we have been following your investigations into these, shall we say, deaths in London for some time. I expect your experience in the park will have convinced you that we are, to a certain degree, responsible for these incidents.
Halligan is disinterested.
As you may have noticed, the meat we are eating at this meal has a rather unique flavor. It is human flesh, Mr. Halligan.
Halligan doesn't care. It's tasty.
This flesh is the source of life force. It grants us strength and power. You will soon discover the incomparable feeling of power for yourself. It will be grander than any feeling you have ever felt. Very soon now, and the day of the ritual's
I'm not even sure
come,
Halligan is listening to this.
will be perfect. Then it will be time for the curse that will put an end to the wretched hustle and bustle of this world and make room for something grand and new. A world ruled by Druids. I must admit your investigations had us worried for a moment, Mr.
How?
We had even made plans to put a stop to them by arranging a little exit. But you are a very lucky man. You will witness the great day yourself, and you will be there on the right side. For by eating this flesh, you have become one of us. Welcome to the circle, Mr. Halligan.
So, lore-wise, once Halligan ate the meat, he was brainwashed. Prior to that, he should not have been brainwashed, but he is very stupid. So yeah, Halligan is now a cannibal and evil. I'm curious as to why his investigation had the Neo-Druids worried, because he's incompetent. I'm also extremely curious as to why they want him to join them. He is terrible at everything. And now we're playing as Melanie. It's a good thing we left that photocopy of information about Lord Sinclair.
Yes? Hello?
Hello? Is this Lord Sinclair?
No, miss. I am sorry. I am Lord Sinclair's butler.
I'd like to talk to Lord Sinclair.
On what matter, miss?
I'm looking for a detective from Scotland Yard.
You are looking for a detective? Miss, in that case, I would recommend you to contact Scotland Yard.
Again,
this
snark.
Is the house of Lord Sinclair, which is not difficult to see.
I thought the detective might be here.
No, I am sorry. A Detective Halligan has not been here.
Could I talk to Lord Sinclair, please?
I am sorry, miss, but his lordship is not here.
I see.
Have a good day, miss.
Okay, so now Melanie needs to sneak in. This is the one and only place in the game you can actually die. You get a full game over. This is also where the speedrun ends, because the game over actually returns you to the start of the game, plays the intro and everything, so it counts as finishing the game, technically. So we're going to go through here and make a safety save. I have a safety save, but I'm making another anyway. we are also going to get caught at least once.
Here.
I'm going to do it once deliberately so that you can see the bad ending, and then we're going to probably do it by accident again. Let's just walk out. Nobody will see us. What? What? What?
Stop right there!
For a second there, I thought that was actually going to work.
Leave me alone, you bastards!
Well, there's no need to be that upset. What are you doing here, sweetheart?
Normally they just catch you immediately.
She got through the hole in the fence.
Oh, little lady. You shouldn't have done that. Now Lord Sinclair will have a surprise guest for his dinner tonight.
What? What are you going to do to me?
You'll find out soon enough, sweetheart.
They are normally really good at catching you. Like, I will probably get caught at least once more by accident. I am astonished by that.
Mr. Halligan! Oh God, I'm so glad to see you. What are you doing here?
I'm preparing dinner.
You're having dinner with Lord Sinclair? That bastard got me locked in here. I really don't want to have dinner with someone like that.
You're not being asked.
What? Mr. Halligan? Is everything all right with you?
Come with me, Miss Turner.
Where?
Into the garden. I have to prepare dinner.
In the garden? Mr. Halligan? What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
Come with me, Miss Turner. Dinner will be ready soon, and you will be our guest of honor.
He does a pretty good ominous voice. The skeletonized body of Dr. Melanie Turner was found in a forest near London only a few days after this conversation. Detective Brent Halligan has been listed as missing. He was last seen leaving his Scotland Yard department. Also, Druids took over the world. That is quite literally where the speedrun ends. That is not where we end. We instead are going to actually continue the game because there is quite a lot more to it. Let's try not to get caught again because skipping cutscenes. I'm trying to remember the timing of this. I did this twice earlier today, but I've also been awake for way too many hours, and that's terrible. My brain is not functional. I've played Mystery of the Druids several times today. So we throw a stone over towards that guard.
What was that?
Let's have a look.
They go to investigate. And we run to the window. If we did this with the correct timing, which we did not. So, well, we're going to go and get killed again.
Hey!
What? Mr. Halligan! Oh God, I'm so glad to see. What are you? You're
into
Melanie Turner dead again. Druids take over the world again, although it doesn't actually mention that. So maybe they actually fail. Probably because they recruited Halligan and he screwed it up somehow. Alright, let's try this again. And hopefully not mess it up this time. I make no promises, this is weirdly precise timing.
Ow! There are some stones here.
What was that?
Let's have a look.
There we go, we did it.
Nothing to be seen.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Must have been a bird.
Wow. This is like being in a ghost train. That must be Lord Sinclair's study.
Well, this isn't ominous or creepy or anything at all. You know, giant...
Ugh, that looks like blood.
Bowls full of blood and altars and... Oh yeah, I've been asking people to keep track of the crimes since the start of the game. I think we're up to about 15 by now, by Halligan alone. So, we need to solve 2 puzzles in here.
Pentagram. A druid's foot would suit Lord Sinclair better.
Firstly, we need to invert this pentagram. There we go. You can hear the different clicking noise here. Okay, this looks like my basement, but... Please forget I said that. Moving on. That has opened up a thingy behind this painting. And now, we can solve a safe puzzle, which again, we can brute force. If I remember rightly, it's basically the positions of everything on here. It's like 10, 1, 6.
Voila! Open.
Sinclair is also really, really stupid, as we're about to discover.
Of transformation Mr. Blake talked about. It seems to be really important for Lord Sinclair.
Cutscene. I would say Melanie is more competent than Halligan. It's a shame we can't play as her, but
God, what a relief!
She's the love interest, so she's clearly slightly stupid.
Brent, why are you hitting me?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Oh God, stop it! What's the matter with you? Don't you recognize me?
Again, remember,
stop it!
She is the love interest. Even after this. But it's okay, blunt force trauma cures brainwashing.
That idiot!
Ow. What happened?
Brent! Is that you? Do you recognize me?
Of course I recognize you. Bloody hell, what's going on? Oh my God, I'm feeling sick. Everything's spinning.
I had to hit you over the head. You were acting like a madman.
Wait, I just have to get it together for a moment. Oh, Melanie, you can't imagine what I've gone through here.
Yeah, sure, what you've gone through here. You just tried to kill me.
How did you get here anyway?
Sadly, we're back in control of Halligan again.
I got your message. Can't you remember? I thought you might need help out here.
Oh, right. The copy.
I had a look around the room, Brent, and I found the amulet Mr. Blake mentioned on the phone.
Where?
It was in Sinclair's safe, together with a parchment.
So Sinclair had it. I'm sure Mr. Blake will be interested in that.
But now, tell me what's been happening here, Brent. What's Sinclair up to?
Melanie, I saw how this Lord Sinclair killed somebody.
What? When did you see that? And where?
Last night, here on the estate. Sinclair caught me immediately after my arrival and had me locked up. I could hear screams when I was in that room. Horrible screams. I escaped and ran outside to the forest behind the estate. And there I saw it.
What did you see?
Sinclair and some other men. They wore
That can't be.
I saw it with my...
Oh,
we're going to skip through a little bit of
what
this.
What happened to you? Why didn't you recognize me?
Must have had something to do with the food.
Which is our confirmation that he wasn't brainwashed until after he ate the food.
Food did something to me. Anyway, Sinclair had no compunction in telling me all about the Circle and about their future plans over dinner. The Circle wants to complete the ritual.
So, Halligan, after seeing thin slices of meat being cut off a human, and then waking up at a table filled with thin slices of meat, after being told that Druids are cannibals, was like, okay, I'll eat that.
What's going on in there? Open the door! Open it at once!
The guards, Brent, they're at the door. We have to leave.
Open the door! Jack, get the key!
Yeah, Melanie, I think you're right. We really should get out of here. And we should do it now. We made it.
Yes, thank God.
It's a good thing they weren't in the garden.
Taken it in that house even a second longer.
Everything all right with you?
Yes, I'm a bit out of breath. And you, Brent?
Scotland Yard do not get guns unless you're part of the armed police unit.
Now.
Where?
To Mr. Blake.
Which is only for serious response incidents.
Let's move.
Mr. Blake,
average police
I'm
officer,
glad you're
no.
here. There's a lot we need to tell you. We've experienced.
We're going to get an info dump. I'm going to skip through
Calm
most
down,
of
Mr.
this.
Halligan. Let's discuss it all in peace and quiet.
I like
Would you
Blake.
like to introduce me to the young lady?
Blake is one of the few good characters in this game.
Mr. Blake, this is Dr. Melanie Turner from the...
Oh, yes.
That's right. Pleased to meet you.
Now, have you found
any more?
Go on.
Mr. Blake, we found the amulet you were talking about.
You found it? My God.
Yeah, we are going to get jump scared by a piano again. I'm sorry.
That's it. Where was it?
In a hidden safe. In the office of the leader of this ominous circle.
Yeah, we'll give him the parchment.
Did they make any sense to you?
They're very unusual runes. I'll have to take a look at this in peace.
I really like Arthur Blake. He's just a nice guy who actually knows stuff and isn't entirely stupid.
The circle is led by an aristocrat called Lord Sinclair.
Lord Sinclair? Never heard of him. How did you find out?
Research. Scotland Yard observed the group for a while. There was an entry in the database, so I drove out to...
You drove?
Yes.
That was rather careless of you, Mr. Halligan.
You can
And
say that
he's
again.
got
You'd
sense.
obviously been expecting me and had me locked up at once.
What happened next?
I witnessed a murder taking place.
Murder? On Sinclair's estate?
Yes. I saw them cutting the flesh from a human body.
And then I ate it.
A live body.
With a sickle?
Yes.
I knew it. What you witnessed was a ritual for the transferal of life force. Were you seen?
I passed out. When I came to, I was sitting at a laid table with Sinclair and 4 other men.
Was there food on the table?
Yes, meat.
You didn't eat any, surely.
You're not that stupid, are you, Halligan?
Oh my God.
I know. It was the victim's flesh, wasn't it?
Yes. You have taken part in the ritual, Mr. Halligan. How on earth did you manage to get away?
Miss Turner got me out. If it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be here now.
You're a brave woman, Miss Turner.
What do we do now?
Why don't we just send a police contingent round there? You're a detective, Miss...
There won't be anything to find by the time they get there. Sinclair and his friends are no fools. They'll just dump the bones somewhere to save the police hunting high and low for a corpse. Scotland Yard will file it away. End of case.
And then they'll probably arrest someone.
Have you found out yet what...
I've decided...
I thought you said the amulet was important to the ritual.
Yes, that's what the...
Yeah, but then everything's all right now. After all, I've got it. Let's just melt it down, then this nightmare will be over.
Actually a sensible thought.
You're forgetting the ritual has already taken place 1,000 years ago.
Then why were they looking for it?
Only part of the power was transferred to the infants, the inheritors.
There are actual reasons why they were looking for it.
But if this amulet means so much to Sinclair, surely it must be needed for the perfection.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
Sinclair may be interested in it for some other reason.
And this is where it turns out Sinclair is stupid.
Parchment you gave me.
So if he hadn't hidden the amulet with the parchment, we wouldn't know about this.
What does the parchment's title say?
Unless I'm very much mistaken, the text refers to a place known as 12 Bridges.
What kind of place is that?
12 Bridges is an abandoned complex near ancient Celtic myths refer to the place as the Gate of the Worlds.
Gate of the Worlds?
You know, Mr. Halligan, the Celts did not
I am
regard
skipping through a bunch of
reality,
this.
And on the contrary, they regard Celtic shrines were always Celtic myths, claim that 12 Bridges has been a consecrated site for millennia, a place where the body can step over into another time.
You mean 12 Bridges is the gate to a journey through time?
According to the legend, yes.
Good point. Halligan clearly stole the amulet and parchment from Melanie along the way.
Can you read what the parchment says?
The signs resemble, but I'm just not getting. I need a special book to continue.
Time to commit more crimes.
System by Scott M. Winfield. Oxford University Library should have it. Mr. Halligan, please get me a copy of that book. I believe the translation of this parchment is the key to Lord Sinclair's intentions.
Nothing's ever been...
Well, that doesn't... It's too delayed. Anyway...
Why would Sinclair keep a...
You see, Mr. If Sinclair knows the place and keeps a parchment about it hidden in his safe, wouldn't it be conceivable that journeys through time really are possible?
You'll find out, Shadow Dio-sama.
He wants to travel back in time?
Well...
We do get to meet a good character there.
I'm sure nobody else made that journey. Maybe Sinclair wants to prevent anyone from traveling back in time and disturbing the ritual.
And once again,
anyone do that?
Blake is actually on the money.
Why would Sinclair be so concerned
and
about
Sinclair is an idiot
It's
for keeping
easy.
the two things together.
No ritual, no inheritors. No inheritors.
No Lord Sinclair. I see.
Of course, these are just speculations. As I said, Mr. Halligan, we need the book. I should be able to tell you...
Alright, we should be able to leave.
Good.
If not, Halligan will say we can't leave yet, and Melanie will yell at us, nope, we're allowed to leave.
This thing is getting more and more mysterious. I can't believe what Mr. Blake said.
We have to find out why this amulet is so important. I expect we'll know more. I have to go to Oxford, Melanie.
Yes, of course. I really need to... Where shall we...
I'll get in touch with you as soon as I...
All right.
Okay, Mel.
Not that we have any way of getting in touch with her, because we only know how to contact her at the university, which is not where she said she was going to be. Anyway, it's time to go to the Library of Oxford. I mean, I kind of wonder if that's why Blake is in a wheelchair. Like, he's just looking at this from academic purposes for the most part, but... First things first, let's investigate this car.
Aha. Alarm protected.
Well, I'm sure it can't be that difficult to get a book out of a library.
It's a magnetic barrier. They have them in all libraries.
And we get to meet AI's favourite character, and also a character I quite like as well, for quite a few reasons. She's also a jerk, but...
Excuse me, I'm looking for a
She's
book.
a jerk to Halligan in particular.
How nice for you.
Quite. Do you think you could help me?
Help you? Why?
Why? As I said, I'm looking for a book.
I heard what you said. You're looking for a book. So, go ahead and look.
I thought it was your job to give people like me information.
Don't think you can tell me what my job is.
It was an obvious question.
Look, young man. My job is to answer questions the computer can't answer. Have you asked the computer yet?
Also, I love the music here. It's very Broken Sword.
No.
Well then, go to the computer and check the database.
I'll see what I can do by myself then.
You do that.
Alright, we could question her a bit more. I'm still a little unsure on time, so we're gonna go through things a little bit more quickly, but here's the computer, the only computer in the library. It's in use.
A cataloguing computer. Excuse me, sir. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Are you going to be long? I need to use the computer.
Just a minute.
I legitimately love this music. I hope you can hear it. This is something I would actually listen to.
You seem to be rather lost in thought.
Huh? What's that? Yes, that's right. It's important thought. Please don't interrupt me.
What's your research all about? Hello?
What in heaven's name is it?
What is your research all about?
What are you shouting for, young man? Don't you know you're expected to keep your voice down in a library? I'm studying...
Yeah, this is set in the year 2000.
Scriptures. I need these results to support my theory.
And was released in 1999, I think?
Couldn't I help you with your research?
No, that's not possible. The subject is simply far too complex. I don't even quite understand what results my research may lead to myself yet.
You're planning a big publication?
Yes, I am. That'll teach my rivals. The Hastings Principle will go down in history. I'm working on volume 14 at the moment.
Of how many?
32.
This is taking far too long. I'm confiscating this computer for my investigation.
Surely Halligan being a detective will help, for once.
Threatening me? Are you trying to encroach upon the freedom of science? I'm sure that my friend, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, will be very interested to hear that. What was your name again?
My name is beside the point. I need that computer.
Ah, now you're getting worried, aren't you? Yes, that's authorities for you. When you threaten them with higher authorities, they soon knuckle under. So, be patient, my friend. I won't be finishing here for some time yet. And I'm certainly not letting the police tell me when I can work or not.
All right then, Professor. I've got work to do.
We can engage him in a scientific conversation.
I always say.
But we're not going to do that. We clearly need to find some way to get him off the computer. Thankfully, that car outside is his and it has a car alarm. We just need to find some method of detaining him. So, let's commit a crime. Yeah, there are several occasions in this game where he really should have given Lowry's name. We've got some books here.
Roman monetary system and fiscal policies. At least 10 copies.
We can trigger the car alarm, but he'll be back very quickly if we do that. We need to detain him for some time. Also, look at this guy up here. He's absolutely going to fall off that. I mean, we are a police officer, so does this count as planting evidence? If we just sneak a book into his pocket by miniaturizing it, apparently. I'm not sure. I guess he's so engrossed in his research that he doesn't notice a giant hardback book being placed in his pocket. And now we wander back outside. Also, how are we doing on time at the moment? I think we've got about an hour and a half or so left, but I might be off. And we can use the wire we picked up from the tiny hotspot.
What are you doing?
Who? Me? Nothing. I must be off to my car. My alarm just went off.
Professor, what's that book you're carrying?
Book? I don't have a book. Please don't.
Hour 25. Gonna have to speed up a little bit.
My car.
What's this then?
But
schedule is slightly off, I believe.
I didn't take this book.
Then how did it get there?
There must be some mistake.
I think this started about 20 minutes after schedule.
I assure you.
I like your nerve, Professor Hastings. You steal a book and then try to deny the whole thing ever happened. I'm very disappointed in you.
Mrs. Owen, you've known me for 20 years
No,
now.
she's still just sitting at her desk.
I'd never...
All I know
there
is
are
that
more
I'm
model
going to
glitches,
have
but
to
not
put this
quite
on
here.
record. Please come along over here to the issuing counter, Professor. You will have to fill in a form.
This is going on his permanent record. And also, his car's probably just been stolen. For all he knows, anyway. But alright, if I'm going to try and keep us to schedule, then we will probably go a little bit under 4 hours, and I will speed up a little bit. Halligan is a dick. Well, while he's busy there, there's no harm in us using the computer and probably accidentally deleting all his work along the way. Lots of adventure game characters are jerks at some point or another. Halligan is one of the few who is a jerk the entire way through, with no redeeming qualities, and commits more crimes than the villains. Mr. Shasta, thank you for the raid. Okay, the book is in 3CB, and it is book 48. The difference there is that those games are comedic. Like, Gabriel Knight is kind of a dick, George Stobart in Broken Sword does some somewhat dickish things, but Halligan is just a straight-up idiot jerk. There we go, we found the book. It's gigantic. And he slides down the ladder because of course he does. No, the timer live split has been crashing for me for the past 2, 3, 4 hours for some reason. And I've been unable to fix it, and it crashed. Well, we've got the book, so that's the end of our problems, surely? Yeah, this game will crash if I alt-tab.
Here, madam. I found the book I was looking for. I'd like to borrow it.
This one?
Yes. Is there something wrong with it?
You bet there is. This is our reference copy.
What's that supposed to mean?
I can't lend it to you. You will have to read it here.
You can't be serious, surely.
Alright, we're gonna have to go fast.
I have to take it to someone.
You heard me.
Do you at least have a copying machine?
No. Why don't you copy the pages you need by hand?
Madam, I've told you the book's not for me. I wouldn't know which pages are important. And I can
also, this book presumably only exists because we
not your problem,
didn't want to take Arthur Blake here in our car.
All right, forget it. Looks like that won't.
All right. So, clearly we need to steal this book. Well, it's a good thing there are books here. Maybe if we just swap the cover.
The cover of this history book is a perfect fit for the book I want to borrow.
More crimes.
Right, I've finished here. I found a different book that interests me. I assume you'll let me borrow this one.
We'll see. What have we here?
I'm not skipping her dialogue. I like her too much.
Oh, the Roman
even if it makes us go over estimate.
And fiscal policies. Yes, you may borrow this one. And just think, I've actually read this one. What a coincidence. A brilliant piece of work. Very vivid.
Halligan's made a friend.
You know, I wanted to be a historian, and Roman coins were my special field. But then I met my husband here at the university. He was working on his doctoral thesis at the time, and, well, you know how it is. I could discuss Roman coins for hours.
Madam? This is all highly interesting, but I do really want to borrow this book.
Oh, yes, of course. Forgive me.
She's suddenly so much more welcoming to us.
Thank you for the book, and your great help.
Oh, I do hope you're not angry with me. If there's any way I can help you, please, don't hesitate to tell me.
Not for the moment, thank you.
I didn't realize this before. We're going to talk to her again. Because she's actually very, very happy to see us again if we talk to her once more.
Oh, the young man who's so keen on Roman history. Well, how did you like the book? Isn't it wonderful?
She's so excited.
How long's the lending period?
Oh, 4 weeks. Ample time to browse through the book.
4 weeks. Good.
Do you like it?
Very much. Sorry, madam, I've just discovered I'm running out of time. I must be going.
Always on the go. I see. Well, goodbye then.
Goodbye, madam.
So, our crimes so far include poisoning a homeless person, stealing his change, multiple cases of theft, destruction of property, breaking and entering, destroying a historical structure, planting evidence, fraud. Anyway, we've got the book, and we are about in time for one of the best cutscenes in the game. Arthur Blake, that's where we want to go. Who could forget cannibalism? Yeah, we ate a person. Don't worry about it.
Hello, Mr. Blake.
Mr. Halligan, have you got the book?
Oh, alright, I'll actually give it to you.
Here you are.
Ignore the cover.
Here's the book you asked for.
Ah, yes. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Halligan. Well, did you have any difficulties with Mrs. Owen at the issuing counter?
None I couldn't handle.
Good. I'll get to work at once. Oh, by the way, Mr. Halligan, Miss Turner called about an hour ago. She's worried about you because you haven't been in touch for such a long time.
Did she say that?
We cannot at this point,
She
Harai.
needs to speak to you urgently.
Do you mind if I use your phone?
Possibly when we're finished.
I asked her to come out here and join me. She should be arriving any minute now.
But we cannot go back to the police station now.
Oh, not long, I hope. The book will be a great help. You'd better just wait here for a moment.
I'll just take a look around then, if you don't mind.
Of course not. Be my guest.
And then...
Mr. Halligan, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Why?
I'm touched at your concern.
Now, don't go imagining things. After all that's happened, it's only natural that I should be worried about you. And Mr. Blake.
Well, I had to get Mr. Blake this book.
That took rather a long time.
I had to drive to Oxford
Turning around
and back.
asking for you.
You've been trying to get hold of me?
Yes. I also went to Scotland Yard and spoke to your chief. He's a bit cross with you.
Cross with me? Why? What have I done now?
Lord Sinclair's planning to bring charges against you for burglary.
What? I don't believe it. That old devil Sinclair seems to feel he's pretty safe, doesn't he?
It looks that way. It seems he has whatever. Your chief asked me to tell you.
We are now suspended.
Effective immediately. Oh, and the next time you come to the office...
We're suspended, but we also have to go to the office to give a report.
What? He can't be serious.
And Lowry's
Don't
on the
tell me
case.
he's handing the...
I wouldn't know. All he said was that...
I certainly will not. I don't care what the chief...
And now, an amazing cutscene.
What's going on out there?
What is it? What's happening?
Leave me! Get out of the danger zone! Here, take the parchment and go!
Come along, Mr. Blake. Let's get out of here!
You get out of here. I'll follow you.
They have ample time to get Blake out of here.
Get out of here! Quickly, run!
I believe you have something of mine, Mr. Halligan. I shall give you until sunset to give my property back to me.
If the Earth, if they got out as soon as it started shaking, they all could have gotten out of there just fine. Also, what if they didn't get out of there in time? I'm gonna be honest, Mr. Shasta, this is incredible with context. Also, note this massive delay.
Oh, God! Mr. Blake! I have to go back and get him out of there.
He's just
Are you
remembered.
crazy? Don't go. It's pointless. You can't help him anymore. He's dead.
Yeah, you're right.
And Halligan doesn't care anymore.
God, what an inferno. Let's get out of here, Melanie. Otherwise, we'll be next.
Where can we go? To Scotland Yard?
No, that's not a good idea. The Chief Inspector's waiting for me there. We'd only lose time. And Sinclair is getting more and more powerful with each new murder.
So what can we do?
You heard what Mr. Blake said. Sinclair has the power for the time being.
Then we're lost.
No, Melanie. We have one chance left.
What do you mean?
We have to go to 12 bridges. We have to try to move the Gate of the Worlds. If we want to stop Sinclair, we have to stop those who gave him his power 1,000 years ago.
You believe in that Gate of the Worlds thing?
The question isn't. The question is...
You're right.
So, it's time to attempt time travel. Because this is Mystery of the Druids. Yeah, I'm afraid you may want to check the VOD for that one. You did miss one of the best cutscenes in the game. And we get to kind of the more annoying part of the game now when things get... The puzzles here make my head hurt. Not here, but what happens next. So normally I would speak to Melanie here, but we don't really have time for that, and also her backstory is depressing, but it makes it even more insane that she's actually interested in Halligan. So instead we're just going to remove the danger sign and make our way over here. Don't worry, Melanie will follow us. We just have to traverse 3 very long screens to get to this dilapidated bridge. Which, oh no, we can't cross. I can think of many ways of crossing this bridge. This is not the one I would choose. Like, you could walk along the wall itself. You could hang on to the wall while sidling along. But no. No, no, we're going to do this.
Hey, good heavens, that was close.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Yes, I'm all right.
You've got a nerve, Brent Halligan. How dare you upset me like that? You could have got killed.
It's all right, Melanie. I'm still alive.
Don't you ever do that again, do you hear me?
Hey, all right, all right.
Just you wait until the end of this game. This game truly saves the best for last. Don't worry, Melanie's solution for getting across and Halligan's stupidity gets quite impressive in a moment as well. Alright, we're good. He just walks along the wall to get over there. There we go.
Melanie? I made it! I'm on the other side!
They aren't that far away.
Brent, what's it like over there?
That's probably about 5 meters.
There's a rather strange tower with some sort of scales in front of it. No idea what it's used for. Come here and see for yourself.
A tragic backstory mostly involves
both boards on your side.
a really terrible ex-husband. I won't go into any more detail than that, and it would probably require content warnings, but yeah.
How much do you weigh? Your weight?
About 160 pounds. Why do you want to know?
I'm much lighter than you. The bridge won't collapse when I use it.
Melanie is an idiot.
Over now.
Melanie, don't! Stop at once! The bridge will collapse!
As I say, that makes it even more tragic that Halligan is her love interest. You know, considering the attempted murder. Okay, here we are, the Gate of the Worlds. This is also really kind of stupid. To the surprise of nobody. It's not a terrible puzzle. It's not a great one. So, first things first, we need to put the amulet in there to weigh it down. Nothing else will weigh it down, the amulet's magical. Then we prop the door open with this caution sign. Or the remaining part of it, and we take the amulet back, because we need that. Fortunately, oh, hello piano. Or musical sting? Scare chord? Welcome raiders, hello. Now we investigate this and we use the scissors. Oh no, we don't. We just actually manually unscrew this, which will take like 20 seconds. We do actually have the translated parchment, because Blake translated it extremely quickly. It kind of gives us an idea of how to solve the puzzles here, but thankfully we don't need it. So we've got those. Now we go in here. And now, in something that took me way too long to figure out, we click the tiny pixel that is the caution sign holding up the door. Because by removing that,
look at that,
and locking ourselves in here,
really something, an hourglass.
Yeah. So now we're locked in here with an hourglass. Now we use the scissors to unscrew a bolt. Yeah, we really don't need that information. It's kind of helpful if not, although it also says something about walking clockwise around this, which is absolutely not necessary. We put this in because it's got a hole in it. And because it's got a hole in it, that means that the sand starts to fall. This game has now just transitioned from a really stupid supernatural murder mystery into something else. I love that musical sting. That musical sting is so good. Don't worry, they're going to be really stupid again in a moment. Halligan, at least.
We haven't moved even a single inch from where we started out, have we?
Look, the bridge is a hole again.
If you ask me, the bridges are still whole. We've landed in a time when this whole place was still completely intact. We've travelled back in time.
You really think so?
Uh-oh, here comes company.
They look like soldiers.
Don't panic. Let's find out what they want.
That never fails to amuse me. Getting this game running is the real problem here.
I must have...
And playing through the first section blind.
Brent? Brent, are you there? Nothing. Damn, where am I? Looks like a kitchen.
Alright. It's time to do some kind of annoying puzzle, but I can skip the more annoying parts of it. We need to take one of each of these spices, and also the bowl thingy. And also the scale thingy. I don't know why we have to replace the scales other than the fact that it made us want to do a pixel hunt, but hey. We can get some water from the cauldron there. I'm kind of doing things in advance of where needed.
What have we here then? Look, John, the Danish whore's woken up.
Point 1, I'm not a whore. Point 2, I'm not Danish.
Do you hear that? She's got a sharp tongue in her head. If you're not Danish, what are you?
What have you done to Brent?
Do you hear that, John? She wants to know what you did to the lad that was with her. Oh, the hussie's worried about him. You must like him a lot. Hey, John, what did you do to the poor man?
I just chopped off his ears.
If only.
Still don't look bad, though.
What? You monsters!
Now. John's in a good mood today. He always jokes around when he's in a mood like that. Your friend's unarmed for the moment.
Oh, that's a shame.
What are you going to do to him?
Unless he tells us what day your king's planning to start his invasion.
Right, we'll skip through a bit of this.
Yes, the arch enemy of the English kingdom.
What invasion, damn it? I know nothing of an invasion, and neither does Brent.
You know very well what I'm talking about. The next Danish But I promise you this. This time, King Ethelred will be ready. We will slaughter you.
Incidentally, this is the start of Disc 2 of the game, if you had it on
Listen to me. I am Dr. Melanie Turner from...
CDs.
That would probably be too complicated for you, I suppose.
Complicated? What kind of a word do you call that then? Stop talking Danish to me, girl.
I'm English.
Of course. And that's why you're speaking Danish to me, is it?
Danish?
Save your this is and that rid.
Yes,
There's no... Your king's prepared, but I'm sure until then...
And
I'm sure.
if you dare touch me, I swear I'll scratch your eyes out.
And I swear that unless your friend tells us the truth about what you two are doing here, you'll die, both of you.
That was an appropriate time for the music to get weird.
We're looking for a Druid order.
Druid? That proves it. You're conspiring with British heathens against our king. You may depend upon it.
But you must have...
Input you for you now. Get in the kitchen, Danish woman. Tidy up and get us something to drink.
Oh, just leave me alone, you bastards.
Right, we go into the kitchen. We pick up the cookbook from here. Which, Melanie... You know, I'm not even commenting on where she put
John, that. Celebrations are due! Our pay has arrived! 10 pieces of silver for each of us. 10 nice, polished...
Wow, it's good that they're so specific that they weigh...
1 ounce each.
Exactly 1 ounce.
What do you want now? I told you to...
There's some...
Go ahead.
Well, what...
In God's...
Yes.
And how...
Wine and meat. The problem is there isn't any in here. So, we go in, we go back out again.
Didn't you get it? Forget it,
Have we accidentally broken a thing? Possibly. Unlikely.
What are you staring? Never seen...
What she mean?
She...
I don't want to serve you.
Oh, don't ya? Well, well, well. Look here. Now you just be... and get us...
Oh,
Didn't you get...
Alright, they want wine and meat. We should just be able to go into the kitchen, look around for a moment, go back out and say there isn't any.
I don't want...
Oh, well, look...
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh.
Alright, it's time to check my notes very quickly. Might be because we haven't actually looked at the recipe book.
Let's see what it says.
Make a strong sleeping drink. 2 ounces of red, 1 ounce of gold, mixed with 2 ounces of green. It'll make you sleep. Well, that sounds like what we want.
Now what is it? Where
there we go.
I couldn't find any wine or meat in the kitchen.
I was worried I'd somehow soft-locked it for a moment there.
Skull. I thought I told you to go to...
One letter.
Do you want her to...
Don't call...
Then don't...
Oh,
excuse...
What do you want?
What do you want me to get you?
I don't care. Think of something. Bring us tea. We'll go and buy some...
When'll that be?
John.
I could offer you something other than tea.
Oh? What's that?
A love potion by my own recipe.
Oh? Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
They're idiots.
You're not so much of a cow as I thought you were.
Perhaps. To be honest, I've always had a soft spot for men who know what they want.
Hey, I like that. Why don't you just come a little closer?
All right.
What'd you make of that, John?
What wonderful equipment you have, soldier.
Yes. Isn't it just? And it's all been christened with the blood of my enemies. Take a good look, if you like, and then bring me that potion you were talking about.
You'll have to be patient. I must brew it first.
All right. This is kind of a pain if you need to figure it out manually, because you have to check to see which thingy is which colour and so on and so forth. But what we actually need is... Oh. What we need first is something to balance out the scales. So it's a good thing that their coin purse, their coins weigh exactly 1 ounce each, as they announced. Alright, we need, according to my notes...
This herb smells of cinnamon.
Cinnamon. And yes, we get to watch this cutscene several times.
Right. That's exactly 1 ounce of the herb.
We put that.
This weed makes the water turn red. This herb smells of cinnamon.
More cinnamon. Lots of cinnamon in the boiling water that we put in our pocket.
Right. That's exactly 1 ounce of the herb.
Now we need the dried herb.
Or maybe dried leaves.
That's the one.
I don't know which plant they come from. Right. That's exactly 1 ounce of the herb. This herb, dried leaves.
We want one more of these. We do not have too long to go. We are on disc 2. Disc 2 is a lot shorter. It's just kind of more annoying, and there will be a special treat at the end too if we have time.
Of the herb.
That said, if you need to sleep, then sleep. And we need...
That smells of aniseed.
Aniseed. And that should do it. It should turn clear if we've done it right. If we haven't, we get to watch these cutscenes again as I remake the whole thing.
That's exactly 1. The water in the bowl is absolutely clear.
Awesome.
There. That ought to get you going.
It looks good anyway. What is it?
As I said, a love potion.
Bah! It doesn't taste all that good.
But it'll work. Just wait and see.
I should hope so, because I'm getting tired. Very tired.
Right, we just need to leave them alone for a moment to drink up.
A large cauldron. There's some liquid in it.
That should probably be enough.
That should do it. Sweet dreams, my friends.
And now we're going to steal the key. They are very, very stupid, thankfully. Well, there's the door to escape.
The door's locked.
It actually looks like it's bolted on this side, so we should be able to open it, but alas, no.
Brent?
Melanie! At last. I'm here. Over here.
Apparently, Moo Kitten. This is something I should probably figure out for myself.
At last? Wasn't I quick enough for you?
This really is one hell of a rat's nest. Where
and Halligan can't do anything but complain.
This is an outpost of the British Army. It seems a number of...
Great. That's simply wonderful, isn't it? Maybe we should have read a few history books before we came here. Where are the soldiers now?
Fast asleep. I made them a drink that...
Well done, Melanie. Now let's get out of here.
Yes, of course, at once.
Alas, we're freeing Halligan.
Okay, now how do we get out of here?
The door's upstairs. Wait here. I'll go and see whether the key fits the other door.
It does not fit the other door. Instead...
Give me a hand with this crate, Brent. It's too heavy for me to shift on my own.
Oh no, hell comes shortly. For me, not for you.
Just as I thought. Take a look at this, Brent.
Why did you think
there
that?
must be more than just the one way out of here. Looks like a secret passage.
Why? What gave you this idea?
Dark down there, isn't it?
Are you scared?
Scared? Nonsense. Come on. Let's go.
We are still in control of Melanie for the moment.
I'm here.
I can hardly see a thing.
Neither can I.
Maybe we ought to go back after all, don't you think?
Rubbish. There's no one here. Don't worry. We'll find the way out.
There's not a glimmer of light here anywhere, Brent.
Oh!
What was that? Are you still there? Brent? Brent, this isn't funny. Hello? Is that you, Brent?
one. Thank you, subtitles.
Damn it. Now where am I?
The technically final part of the game. There is still time to go. This is a long part of the game. So we're going to go through this fast if we can. And we need to look out this window. And then look out this window. And also steal the bedsheet. Because we're Halligan.
So you are the stranger who came to us through the Gate of the Worlds. We meet at last. I am very pleased to see you.
Oh, yes? I can't say the feeling's mutual. I want to get out of here. This minute. Who are you, anyway?
Hush. Be calm. Nothing will happen to you here. I am your friend.
My friend? That's a lie. I can do without friends like you.
We have been expecting you. We need you. You are the one all our hopes are hanging on.
They're doomed.
You've been expecting me? That's impossible. I came here from the year 2000. You can't even know I exist.
You came to us through the
Halligan is the one they've been hoping for.
Has the power to alter the course of history.
Right now, I don't even know where I am.
You are in a monastery, the final refuge of the last Druids of Britain. You have come to us in our greatest hour of need.
What do you mean?
Our order is facing extinction. For thousands of years, we have been handing our knowledge down from generation to generation. Every pupil was instructed by his mentor for 20 years, until he would...
I see, and?
The Druid's power can serve either good or evil. The mentor's...
Yeah, Halligan's the chosen one. We're all doomed.
Will prevail. A pupil without a mentor is left to his own devices. He acts without wisdom or knowledge, and thus becomes hungry.
There you go. If you don't have a teacher, you'll be evil.
Okay, that's old news so far.
Our Grand Master Surston killed his mentor and became evil. Yet he succeeded in becoming the leader of our brotherhood. He is now preparing a ritual mightier than any that has ever been performed. He wishes to transfer the entire Brotherhood's power to 5 infants, to ensure that the power of the Druids will live on forever. These infants will be stronger than any Druid the world has ever seen, and they will grow up without a mentor. They are destined for evil. They will be tyrants, mighty, immortal, invincible.
Sounds familiar.
Together, we can prevent this from happening. A small circle of brothers have united under my leadership with the intention of stopping Surston.
Surston has the best voice, incidentally.
But Surston seems to suspect something is going on. Ever since we occupied this, we know there is a secret room.
We'll skip through this a bit.
It's a crystal ball.
There is a crystal ball in a secret room. We need to find it.
You need my help.
We are few. We need somebody of equal power to him.
And you think that's me?
Your journey here has given you the power to alter the course of history. That is more than any of us would be capable of doing. Find the
Halligan is the chosen one, the great time traveler.
I have arranged for you to be allowed to move freely within the monastery until the day of your execution.
The day of my execution? Oh, great. Now you tell me. How much time does that give me?
I must leave you now. I bid you good luck.
Hey, where will I find you? What's your name, anyway?
I am called Maglor.
Incidentally, him telling us what day our execution is...
That is, if I ever get to tell him. And
yeah,
Melanie,
Inspector Miller is a problem.
Where did she get to?
And he has just now remembered Melanie exists. Okay, this place is a huge maze. It is really annoying, and I'm going to be following my notes closely here. And I'm still going to mess this up. We want to, first of all, go in here and talk to Maglor again. This place is full of rooms that look the same.
I've been looking for you.
Have you discovered any?
I have to learn. Don't you think you might...
Out of the... We will... Everything...
What have you done with Melanie?
She is safe for the...
What do you...
The day of her execution.
That sounds a double... And when will...
Surston has decreed that the day of the ritual...
If he'd just told us this would be in 6 days, this would help us solve a puzzle later.
Okay.
Which we're going to solve quickly anyway without him telling us that. We need to... I think we go this way. This place is a really, really annoying maze. It's not the worst maze. The worst maze is coming up, and it is probably one of the worst mazes I have ever seen in a game, ever. This is an abacus. This is incredibly important. Make sure you remember the exact position of all of these, and note that there are many different segments on each of them.
This table is remarkable. The mystic's engraved. An old library. Filled with the typical... Melanie! There you are!
Brent!
Where have you been? I was worried.
I was just... And then I...
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm...
Melanie, what on earth?
Reading. They've got some really interesting books in here, Brent. Take this one, for example. It's a book on the monastery's history.
Oh, Melanie.
It was written by Christian monks. It says...
Hold on, Melanie. Before you start your academic lecture, you may be interested to know that I've just seen someone called Maglaw, who was good enough to tell me that you and I are to be executed in a few days' time.
I know that, Brent. I've seen him too. He was here half an hour ago. He told me everything.
Oh, and I suppose it doesn't bother you? Well, as for me, I had other plans for the eve of my life, to be honest.
Brent, what do you think I'm doing here with these books? I'm looking for something that might be of help to us.
This is no time to start reading, Melanie. We must do something.
Well, at least
I don't know why that line tickles me so much.
Inhabited by Christian monks.
So what?
Why don't you... The Druids besieged, not the monks.
I think...
That's where in mid-century, the Druids must have found a way into the monastery.
Melanie, this is all very interesting.
I know, Brent.
So, there is a secret passage somewhere in the monastery.
Aren't you...
Of course, but if we... And then...
Perhaps we should... That may be only...
We're not missed. We have to think of me help. You want...
Ah, miss, if only it would have...
I doubt it.
Okay, you're right. Let's do... I'll take... Will you still...
Of course.
Good. Take care of...
And you...
Remember that, there is a secret passage to get out of the monastery. We will never see or use this secret passage. From here... We want to go down the corridor. I think we want to go in here. I'm trying to waste as little time as possible. We want to take the Iron Crucible. We want to go over here. And
never know. It might come in handy.
Take those herbs. And we want to keep going for the moment. I think we go in here, and you can see why, with so many doors and so many of them being useless.
I'll take these candles with me.
I have problems navigating around here, even though I've done this a lot. We've got a lit fireplace there, so let's stick the Iron Crucible in there.
Right, now the crucible's in the fireplace. It'll get nice and hot in there.
Stick the wax candles in the crucible. Get a very weird musical cue as they melt. And the wicks go.
The candles have melted. Now I've got a block of wax.
And then we pick up the molten wax and just hang on to it. That won't hurt at all. We go up around this way. Incidentally, here's a huge door.
These are solid iron.
With locks on it and mysterious symbols. Could this possibly be where the crystal ball we're looking for is hidden? Yes. Yes, it is. And we go here, and we can head outside, where we can do a couple of little puzzles. Firstly, we're going to ruin the Druids' crops for seemingly no good reason.
Right, let's use this herb then.
We use roots to cover up the drain. Turn the handle, but alas, no water comes out.
The inner courtyard is bigger than I thought.
Keep walking through all of these screens that have no purpose whatsoever. Do it, Dusty Bristles. And turn this tap.
Yes, a lever. It works. The water's flowing now.
The whole purpose of doing this was to make the earth wet so that worms would come up, and no, I am not kidding.
Turn it off again.
I don't know if that really counts as a crime. That's mostly just watering a garden. I mean, I guess we blocked the drain, but it's not like we've done much damage. Right, let's pick up the worms. And we want to go around to the other side of the monastery now.
This looks very much like a workshop. There's a strong smell of smoke here. Good day, friend. How are you?
How should I be? Every day I work my
That's a better West Country accent.
I get bad food, bad
Which apparently was also probably the more common accent.
Pretty smoky in here, do you know that?
But that was a few hundred years ago, not 1,000.
Going out. Ever seen a smith who could work?
What's the matter? Does the ring?
There's nothing.
Oh, Scotland.
Scotland Yard? Where's that? In Scotland?
No. Let's just say it's a place it takes a long time to get to.
1,000 years.
All I know is the settlements on the other, and I curse.
Yes, I think I'd have been better off staying in London too.
London? Never heard of it. Is that west of the river? Don't so what?
Aren't you?
Oh yes, but all else.
So he's another prisoner of the Druids. He refuses to help us at the moment, so we're like, okay, bye.
I see. Oh well, look.
I'm ready, but as you can see, I really can't.
The fire keeps going out, he doesn't know why, so we're going to solve that problem for him. It's not even going to involve committing a crime somehow. It might be considered damage to public works, but in this instance, I don't know.
Stores. There's a lot of stuff here.
And the only thing we need is this tiny piece of wood. Now we get to do more stupid stuff. We're going to go and meet Surston, the leader of the evil Druids, and the one we saw in the intro doing the ritual to empower the babies, if I can remember where the hell he is. Surston, which room are you in? One of these two, I think?
You? What do you want?
Surston has the best voice.
And you are the man who came all the way here just to let me kill him. What do you want? Is the little bit of life I've granted you too much for you?
I've come to offer you a deal.
A deal? You are offering me a deal? You overrate your importance. I will not do deals with you.
I know something that you can't know.
What might that be?
I won't tell you until you give me your word that you will let me and my friend go.
What? You cannot truly believe that I will fall for a trick like that. There is nothing you can know. There is nothing you can bargain.
I'm literally from 1,000 years in the future.
I will not enter into any deal with a useless creature like you. I will grind you underfoot, if it pleases me to do so. That is all you may expect from me. Now get out of my sight.
Well, that went well. I think we should go talk to him again. He seems like a nice guy, and I love his voice.
Now what do you want? Are you so eager?
I love that he just gradually gets more annoyed with Halligan.
Soon enough. Now get out!
One moment, please. Just one short... May I ask you...
You do not need to ask questions. It would be a waste of time answering you.
I feel too bad skipping his dialogue. Anyway. I can't do it.
I'll chance that.
You must think you're very clever, just like all fools. You will soon understand just how pointless each of your actions, sentences, and thoughts is. Very soon now, my power will be multiplied, and I will continue to exist within it. It will make me immortal, and you will be no more than a pile of dust that the wind will carry out to sea.
I've heard your order is facing its down.
I think I can slow down a bit. We're going to be ahead of schedule, but we're going to be on time, I think, or behind schedule. Maybe not. But I can rush a little bit less than I have been.
New beginning, even if some of my brothers
if only the timer was working.
Or did you think I did not know of the ridiculous conspiracy that some of my misguided brothers have set up? They have told you of it, haven't they? I do not expect you to betray them, but they are greatly mistaken where their abilities are concerned, and they underestimate me. I will soon find out which of my brothers are betraying me, and I will destroy them without even lifting a finger. The path
I'm actually curious if that's the same voice actor as Lord Sinclair, and I think it is.
Now get out of my sight. You bore me.
And we're told to piss off again. So let's go back in and annoy him once more. We are doing this for a reason.
Listening to me. Get out.
And we say, I'd like to watch.
I'd like to stay and watch you.
I understand. You wish to see for yourself what lies in store for you. Is that it? Many doomed men are fascinated by their executioners. Man's curiosity is greater than his fear. Curiosity brought
the mystery of the broken timer.
Curiosity will kill you.
The Druids did it.
Be my guest if it amuses you. Watch me preparing for your final hour.
So Thurston is a
vaguely... As long as
vaguely...
you do not touch anything, I shan't even know you're here.
Thank you.
Thurston is actually a vaguely competent villain. He knows that there are people conspiring against him. He's planning for it. He's just a touch overconfident.
Don't even think of touching anything in here.
Whoops, didn't mean to touch it, meant to look.
Scrolls and a key.
Well, that sounds useful. And what's this?
This secret compartment is empty.
So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit and put the tiny block of wood in the back of the secret compartment. And that's about everything we need to do there for the moment. Now we need to go and find Maglor again. Which means me wandering around until I can remember, no, it's not this room. This is a completely pointless room that we never need to go in. I'm curious if we missed the conversation where we can ask Melanie out on a date. That may have been earlier. My brain is telling me it's in this monastery, but we'll find out. We're going to take a quick break and see if we can do that.
I found a few more One of them describes all the monks kept an eye.
What were they?
I don't think you wouldn't be.
Oh, right. Thanks for... I think I've heard enough stories of cannibalism to last me a few years, thank you very much.
How are you getting on?
I need a bit more time. The monastery's rather large, and it's hard not to get lost. Also, I keep finding some druid or other following me around.
We don't have much time, Brent.
What can I do? I haven't found the room with the crystal ball yet. Have you...
Nothing, Mr.
Yes.
You've got...
I don't...
Anything. You remember...
I might get... Melanie, can I ask you something personal?
Do you really think this is the right time?
No, probably not. But who knows if I'll ever get another chance to ask you.
Well, what is it? I'm curious.
I love that we have two no options, but...
If we ever get out of here alive...
Yes?
Would you... I mean, could you ever bring yourself to...
Go to Al's Pizza Palace for a pizza with you? Yes, I think I'd like that.
Hey, how did you guess? Do you know Al's Pizza Palace?
I've never been there, Brent. But when I went to Scotland Yard to look for you, I took a look at your office.
His disgusting office.
Oh, I see. A bit untidy in there, isn't it?
You could say that.
Yes, I should try and tidy up in there sometime. But you'd come with me?
I told you, yes.
Right. It's a
and
deal.
we have
I'll
confirmed
remind you about it.
Melanie
okay, Brent. I'm
is
looking forward to it. But it might
kind
be
of an
idea
idiot
if
with
we
terrible
try
taste
to
in
get
men.
out of here alive first. What do you say?
Of course. I'm sure we will.
Well, at least Brent now has a reason to go on.
Okay, Melanie, I'll go on looking.
Good
Other
luck.
than, you know, staying alive. Alright, back to the game, but I did want to sneak that conversation in here somewhere. We need to go and find Maglor. This room, I think. Or it's the one on the other side, because so many of these are identical.
Didn't I tell you not to speak to me?
Yeah, I know, it's dangerous.
I need undisturbed access to one of the rooms in the monastery.
Which room?
I think I said near the start that terrible things happen to everyone who gets involved, or meets Halligan.
Surstan's room. Is that possible?
Out of the question. Whenever Surstan leaves his room, he locks the door and never lets the key out of his sight.
That settles that then, doesn't it? Or is there some way he could be lured away? Couldn't you get him out of his room on some pretext? Just long enough for me to take a look around undisturbed?
Yes, I may be able to. I shall try.
And off he goes. He works very, very quickly because Thurston's room is now completely empty. So many of these rooms are completely empty.
Did it. Now I can take a good look around in peace.
Unfortunately, the chest with the key has gone missing. Fortunately, we left a block of wood in the secret compartment so that it didn't close properly, and thus we can open it.
I don't feel I should be doing this.
Take the chest. And then open the chest by using it on this table here. It does not work if you attempt to use it anywhere else.
There's the key.
We take the key. But we can't just take the key, because then Thurston would know. So, we put it back. Is Brent Halligan the most incompetent MI6 agent? Because I want to read that book. We close the secret compartment again. And now, we have a wax mold of the key. If only there was someone around here, perhaps a blacksmith, who could make a key out of this. We want to go the other way, it's a faster way. Good luck navigating this maze of rooms. That, or I just have attempted to erase as much of this game from my brain as possible. First of all, though, we need to get the blacksmith's fire going. To do that, we need to go up on the roof, because the blacksmith is also kind of stupid and doesn't notice that there is a crow.
Well, are you quite comfortable?
Blackbird? Covering up the chimney.
Bird? A crow, I think. Did the smoke make you black? The little fellow's not very talkative. Not that I imagined it would be any different.
This is really annoying because you can't, for instance, throw the worms down on the many bits of ground you can interact with below. You have to do it specifically here, nor can you just scare it away. You have to actually put the worms there. I don't know...
Sorry, it had to be done.
There are so many other ways we could have solved that problem instead of that incredibly specific one.
I've cleared the chimney. That ought to solve your problem with the fire.
The chimney?
Yes. There was a crow's nest on it. I took it down, that's all.
Oh, you're great. Stranger, you just saved my knack. I'd better get back to work now, and quickly. I must hurry.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it was a blackbird.
Okay, thank you, my friend. I'll take a look around.
All right. Please yourself. See you later, stranger.
All right, now we show him.
Can't see any. I'm sure I'd be in trouble. Well, everything all right now?
Yeah, I thank you.
I need your help.
There we go.
Could you take a look at this?
That's the impression of a key.
Well done.
I've helped you. Now I'm asking you to help me. Make a key like this one.
I can't. Impossible. Sorry, stranger.
Why not?
I'll tell you. They'd kill us both.
You owe me something. If it hadn't been for me, they'd have punished you tomorrow anyway. You said so yourself.
We did skip over that bit of dialogue, but yes, he couldn't do any work because the fire was out. So
I'll make you a key. It'll take a while, though.
No problem. I'll come back later to pick it up.
And now we do actually need to waste a bit of time. There is nothing else we can do unless I've forgotten something, which I don't think I have. We basically just need to kill time. I think it's tracked by a certain number of rooms that you move around. So, you know what, let's go and see if Melanie has anything to say. And then we can get on with what are arguably two of the most painful puzzles in this game. One of them isn't a bad puzzle, it's just very irritating. And one of them is dreadful.
You made me jump.
Sorry, you were so wrapped up in your books.
Yes, this one's really interesting. It's hard to make out, though. It deals with transformation rituals. Have you ever heard of a magical top? Magical tops set objects in motion. Every Druid carries one round with him.
Tell me, chat, have you ever heard of a magical top?
What's it good for?
It's a symbol.
Of what?
Of the Earth's rotation and the cycle of the elements. The Druids believe that all natural phenomena are based on a transformation cycle. Fire transforms the elements. The magical top is a symbol of this cycle. The cycle of life, you see?
Annoyingly, this is all relevant to an upcoming puzzle.
Reading, Brent.
We are pretty much at the end game.
I may even find a clue as to how...
So remember, everyone, the book about magical tops is very revealing. And Melanie would like to be left alone for a while.
Of course. I just wanted to say something about our last conversation. Have you found...
Nothing. It talks... Mr...
Yes.
You've got...
I don't...
Anything. You remember...
I might...
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck.
That's hopefully enough time for the blacksmith to have made the key for us. Those of you staying awake for this, fear not, we are approaching the end. And don't worry, this game does indeed finish, as it begins, with an act of tremendous sociopathy. There we go, he's finished.
Right. Your key's ready. Listen, stranger. I didn't give you this key, okay? If you're caught with this, it's your problem, not mine.
Yes.
We should be underestimate and probably on schedule.
This could kill you, you know.
No, I'll be all right. Give me the key.
Oh well. Don't say.
I mean, they're going to kill us shortly anyway, so hey. Also, remember how I said that terrible things happen to almost everyone who gets involved with Halligan?
Thanks a lot.
Arthur Blake got blown up by a fireball. Computer professor guy got framed for stealing a book, and, you know, basically dreadful things happen to pretty much everyone in this game who interacts with Halligan in any meaningful way. The blacksmith is probably safe. Everyone else, not so much. Oh, God. I hate this so much. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary friends, to literally the worst door maze I have ever seen in any game in my life. And this is where I very noisily move to my notes, because screw this. There might be a way to solve this. There may be hints with these runes. If there are, I have never figured them out. This is so much worse than Aliens 2. Okay, the first door is number 3. You'll understand why this is bad real soon. The next door is number 2. I do have a safety save at the start of this in case I screw it up. Okay. The next door is number 4. The next door is number 3. And then the next door, well, it's obvious, isn't it? Yeah, it's the one we came in from. Because in this one, when you go through a door...
Oh, this looks like it might prove a little difficult.
It takes you to a different place than where you came in. There is, near as I can tell, no clue to how to solve this maze in the game. You just have to brute force it, make notes, etc, etc. I think this is the same door again. Yeah, the shortest path through this is 10 steps. Alright, middle door. This is a long door maze, and yeah. Good luck figuring out where you are, which doors you've been through. I think it's the far left one, and then I think it's the same one we came in by again. Welcome to the world's worst door maze, Rodney. Where going in through a door doesn't take you back where you came. And we're through, and we never have to do this again, because even if we leave and come back, which is expected, it will auto-solve it for you. I would hope that there is a hint for this somewhere. I've never found one.
Wow. It was worth coming here. Looks very impressive.
A nice, closed stone eyeball. Well, that's all we need to see here. Unless we close the doors. There may be other paths, that's the shortest one, but it's so hard to distinguish between any of the rooms. I don't actually remember that in Etrian Odyssey, or at least well, Etrian Odyssey has a map function, but yeah. Anyway, we have now, by closing those doors, found the crystal ball. We are now going to skip a chunk of backtracking and the game.
That was Stonehenge, completely destroyed.
So, do you remember the abacus that we saw upstairs? Well, the abacus upstairs shows us today's date. This abacus here, which you might actually miss if you don't see that you can travel around the outside of this, shows what the crystal ball is set to show, but has two extra ones. One bar shows morning, and one bar shows, or on this bar, one segment is morning, one is night, and the other is hour of day. So, what we need to do is set this to the time the ritual is going to take place. Normally you would need to go and check the abacus to find out today's date, talk to Maglor to find out how much, you know, when the ritual is going to take place and what time it is, and yeah. And this is where I once again look at my notes to solve this, because backtracking, no. Let's see. I'm gonna do this kinda slowly so as not to completely mess it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one should be the second one along. I'm sorry, I'm not paying much attention to chat right now. One is... I think this one is actually correct. This one is one to the right. This one is one to the left. We want... Nope, I've done this completely wrong. I'm reading my notes wrong because I'm a genius. That's there. That's correct. I think this is correct. That's correct. That's correct. Final one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have basically just skipped a lot of backtracking by doing this. Also, I love that you're all talking about terrible, terrible mazes. There are some good mazes in games. There are some really clever ones. That should be correct. If we look into the crystal ball now, we should get a different scene. Really trying not to tell you what I think that looks like.
What was that? It must have been the ritual. That's what's going to happen. I must tell Maglor at once.
We are finally approaching the end game. We have one more little segment to go. We probably about 25 minutes left for anyone keeping track. I'm not sure if I love or hate the you need to close the doors to open the eyelid thing. It's not bad. It's like the only thing you can interact with there, but hey. Dungeon Master has some awesome mazes, especially one of the ones with a really long corridor and a spinner trap in the middle of it. Maglor is not in Maglor's room anymore. Maglor is now in our room. for plot contrivance reasons. Thank you, Dr. Festy. Yeah, I've played a lot of old dungeon crawlers and new dungeon crawlers, and I need to play more of them. I have some experience with mazes, but this door maze just makes my head hurt, possibly because of the FMV of going up and down between floors too.
Maglor, I figured it out. The apparatus with the movable beads in the room where the crystal ball is hidden.
I explained this to chat a minute ago.
It works just like the one in the assembly chamber, but with an additional day and night cycle and an hour schedule. I entered the time of the ritual.
Stop taking credit for my accomplishments.
Appeared in the crystal ball.
What was he doing?
He was holding a staff decorated with runes, which suddenly began to gleam.
Didn't look like a staff to me.
A golden sickle.
A staff? He used a bewitched staff to summon the power. If we find that staff, Thurston will not be able to perform his ritual.
Where could he be keeping it? I've searched the whole monastery and found nothing.
I want to jump into this conversation, but in a moment.
How do we get there? I haven't seen any exit.
The Christian monks built this monastery in such a way that it is only accessible through a secret tunnel. Thurston uses that to his advantage, as it allows him to control us. Anyone wishing to leave the monastery is blindfolded and guided by Thurston himself. Nobody can leave here without Thurston.
Where are they? Bring them to me!
Did you hear that?
Well,
hear what?
Out there. I think I heard Thurston's voice. He's looking for us.
Damn it. That's all we need. Lock the door, and then let's get the hell out of here.
Somehow, Thurston is onto us. Wizardry 4 is an amazing, catastrophically evil game. It's also impossibly difficult if you haven't played Wizardry before. So Thurston, for some reason, is now after us. I guess he's onto our cunning plot. So the obvious solution is to burn the bedsheet using this candle. Yeah, look, I'm going to call it what I think it is when we see it again. Okay, now that we've got a bedsheet with a hole in it, that is clearly an extremely workable parachute.
Let's get out of here.
Cutscene.
But how?
Here, with this parachute.
What's going on in there?
Well, come on, damn it.
We will fall to our death.
But we've got no alternative but to jump. Now hold on.
Melanie? Who's Melanie?
Do you hear that? What is it?
I love that it has a beeping sound like a heat-seeking missile. Thurston is crap at fireballs compared to Lord Sinclair. Lord Sinclair's one blew up a house. That one just kind of inconvenienced Maglor. And once again, Halligan has caused problems for someone he interacted with. But yeah, I love that the noise in that cutscene, and do go back and listen to it in the VOD if need be, it has a weird whirring and beeping sound as though it's locking on. Hi, Maglor.
Maglor, are you hurt?
He hit me in the back. You are on your own now.
Don't talk nonsense. You won't die. Tell me how I can help you.
You are wasting your time.
Don't act the hero. What do I have to do?
There's mistletoe here. In the forest. You could try that. It heals severe injuries. Go and look for
Please note.
Mistletoe? What does that look like?
You will.
Oh my god, Brent.
Okay. Don't give up.
Brent, have you never been to a Christmas party? Wait, never mind. You definitely haven't been. Please don't try druid healing methods. At least not ones from this game.
There. That could be mistletoe. I won't touch them with my bare hands.
Yeah, there's nettles in the way, so once again, we need to use our gloves. Please do not put mistletoe on gaping wounds, especially from evil fireball druids.
Don't give up. I'll be back in a second. I've got the mistletoe. What do I have to do now? Maglor? Maglor! Damn it.
Well, he's dead. Time to loot his corpse, I guess. And we have found a magical top. Alright. These two temples are effectively the end game. There is still a little way to go, so we're not finishing just yet. Anyway, Maglor's dead. Well, moving on. I kind of like the puzzle in this temple. The other temple can go directly to hell. And then the final puzzle in the game is actually just awesome. So this is where all the stuff about the elements goes on. I don't understand how this works, but magical top, spin! He also clipped into the temple. Don't worry, Melanie's going to do something much more egregiously animated than that soon. Fear not. So, the magical top opens up this thing. And when we step into it, it spins. There are several chambers here. Most of them are completely useless. This is the control mechanism that determines how many rooms we spin.
They look like switches.
Unfortunately,
the switch is broken.
The one for one room is broken. So we set it to 3 rooms. So we can get to every room with it set to 3. First things first, we go here. We pick up this flint from this bowl. And we go up here, because this is the fire room, as you can tell by the symbols. And we pick up this ladle. The symbols aren't hard to figure out. Kind of the X with 3 lines above it is fire. Wavy lines is air. 3 straight lines is earth, and wavy lines vertically, like this, is air. We can't actually do anything with the bellows yet. If we try.
I can't take it. There seems to be some kind of invisible barrier over the bowl.
Now if we check upstairs, we find a trowel with the earth symbol on it, and at this point you've probably figured out what we need to do. We need to get the items from the top, the magical top, so that we can pick up bits and pieces from the protected things at the bottom. There's another fire flint. We have a ladle with the the water symbol on it.
For some reason I'm not able to get at it. It seems to be some kind of invisible barrier over the bowl.
Yep, but the magical water ladle can take the water, which we will then store in our pocket. It's absolutely fine, don't worry about it. That's back to the entrance. We don't want to be there just yet. Here we have the earth, which we can pick up with the trowel. If I was doing this section, or rather the next section, bellows with the air symbol on them, I'm sure you can guess what we need to do with those. Doing the next section without my notes would be pain and agony. And it might be if I misread them, which I did when I was doing this section earlier today when testing. Fire, we've already got both of those. Spin, spin, spin. There's the bellows. I don't know how that didn't let the air escape, but there you go. Okay, that should, I think, be everything. We have earth, water, the 2 fire flints, and...
Bellows are filled with air drawn in from the gadget.
Yes, gadget. That's the perfect word for it, Halligan. Well done. And now we can exit, and we can go into the second temple, which I hate. It is a terrible place, filled with misery and pain. This is another section where I, once again, refer heavily to my notes so that I don't have to solve this puzzle again. I mean, he's already stolen all of the air from it, so I'm not sure why he bothered. He's just going to clip through the door, don't worry about it. Oh, I hate this. This bit isn't bad. The next bit is dreadful. So, there is a locked door.
There's a golden key on it. I don't know why, but I can't take anything from the altar.
There is a locked door, there is a golden key protected by a magical force field. To sort this out, we need to solve little puzzles here, which are fairly simple, logical, make sense. This, for instance, we have fire. And we can also look outside and there's a megalith. This is relevant, believe it or not. So first things first, we can use the Amulet of Transformation here to unlock it. We just make them kiss. It's kind of like Tulip again. Having done that, we can flip this open. And we can light it with the fire flints. So, fire, fire. We also, at this point, need to take this torch, which I swear looks like it has hair on it instead of anything else, and light it. Tell me the head of that torch doesn't look like a brush. Alright, we're gonna go clockwise. Because it's the easiest way to remember it. More kissing! Play the Tulip music. Although again, I would like to point out, this game has really good music. Now, note that you can hear wind if you look out this window. This probably doesn't seem strange, but it is incredibly relevant. This is Earth, so... I always worry the game is crashing when it does that. We put Earth in there, it's definitely not dung, don't worry about it. And then, because fire is the transformative element, we also need to light down here, where we create a magic flaming spinny disc, because druid magic, don't worry about it, it's fine. Next room. Yeah, the music in this game is really good, and there are some, to be fair to the game, there are some genuinely good puzzles in this. Uh-oh. Whoop. Well, we've got a crash. It's fine, we have backup saves. I could restart the timer for fun. I'm not going to. We have... There we go. I have a save right at the very beginning of Temple 2. I also have a save right at the very end of Temple 2. Let's... Nah, we'll go back and do fire first. Oh no, I have to restart the whole thing. We're going to be 4 hours behind schedule. Actually, a lot less, because if you skip all the dialogue, it goes way faster. It's just far less entertaining. Look, Bad Shop, you people have tried to make me do airplane mode again. You remember what happened that time? Sadly, there is no dialogue to skip here, so it's pretty much going to be the same thing. But yeah, this game likes to crash. I really should have started the timer there. But yeah, we're starting time now. If it crashes again, which it hopefully won't, then we will just skip ahead to the end of this temple, which is effectively the end game. There is about 5 minutes left at that point. Oh, I forgot to light the torch. I actually think my 4-hour estimate may be pretty much spot on for this. Since we did start this slightly late. Yeah, I haven't slept at all. It's 11:20 in the morning here. So believe me, I feel you. I can promise the end is worth it, and time permitting, I will even have a special surprise if we can spare an extra 2 minutes, which will be even more worth it. Damn, there's something else I should have done while it crashed, but not to worry. Alright, next one. It's amazingly worth it. I can't say more than that. I think I jinxed it by saying I think it's crashing every time it freezes on these FMVs. Once again, we light it on fire because fire is the transformative element. And we can also look out the window and see what we hear. Which again is annoyingly relevant. Wind again. I wonder what that could possibly mean. Alright, one last one to go. There's the locked door. This is the air one, so bellows.
Get me any further?
Bell, I totally understand. We've got probably about 15 minutes left, including cutscenes. I don't know why this music has started playing. It is far too jaunty for this scene. We have broken the force field. We are now on to what is effectively the final puzzle of the game. Isn't this the France music? I think that may have been a bug. If it crashes again, we are skipping to the end of this temple. Right, locked door. Unlock locked door. The game gets a lot funnier in the second half when you go into the past because you commit fewer crimes. Alright. Now the game gets aggressively evil again. So, we've got these slots in the wall. We need to take these stones out from each of them. Also, note how many screen transitions there are here. Yeah, the timer is very happy with me. Got yet more. Random scare cord for no apparent reason. I think that's all of them. Again, there are like 8, 9 screen transitions to get down here. We basically need to repeat the same puzzle as above, but also with the noise we heard out the window. The minor issue with this is that because we have gone down a rotating staircase, the rooms have been rotated by 90 degrees. Okay, let me check the notes. We start here. And this one, which was fire and air upstairs, if you remember, because we've rotated, is now earth and air. And yeah, if you can't remember this or need to get your bearings about the rotation, you get to go up all of those stairs again. want to do this clockwise for preference, because that's how I wrote it in my notes. And because I really didn't feel like solving this again. This one is water and air, I believe. And yeah, especially if you didn't think to look outside the window and hear what noise each megalith was making. This is one of those ones I'd kind of approve of this puzzle if it wasn't for the fact that they rotated the rooms. This one is air and water, and then the last one should be fire and fire. And if that doesn't work, screw it, I'm loading the save where we've done all of this. Because we are getting awfully close to cut-off time, and you need to see the ending of this game, as well as the special surprise. And we've done it. We can now pick up the lightning dildo. I mean, magic staff. Look, it's midday. Forgive me, I've been up all night. We've got it! Hooray, we've won!
What are you doing?
Melanie!
Brent! He's going to kill me!
Let her go. She hasn't
Melanie
got anything
just
to do with
slides
this.
across the floor.
I came here on my own.
You have something that belongs to me. Give it to me, now!
Brent, do what he says!
Melanie is like,
serious!
You know what?
You heard what he said.
Just give him the
He's
staff.
Absolutely right.
Brent, please!
Normally people are like, no, don't give him the item. Let me die. It's not worth it. Save the world.
I'll give you the
Melanie, on the other hand,
one condition. You must swear
screw the world,
nothing
save
will
me.
happen to either Melanie or me afterwards.
What? That is your condition?
Swear on your honor.
It doesn't mean anything to me whether you sad creatures live or die. If you really want to hear it, I swear it.
On your honor.
On my honor.
Okay, now let Melanie go.
Give me the staff.
I'll put it down here as soon as you let her go. Come here, Melanie.
There we go. We've given him his magic lightning dildo. He can complete the ritual again, and we're doomed.
Now our fates will be sealed. The ritual may begin. But first, I will take care of you two.
Oh no, he's...
You miserable fools.
I love his voice. He's turning us into ghosts. I mean, this was his temple anyway. But yeah, we basically accomplished nothing. Or did we? So, he actually teleported us back to the gate between worlds at 12 Bridges. He didn't actually lie. He just sent us back to the future. We are coming up on time.
Hey, we're still alive.
It would appear so. Where are we?
The bridges are ruined. We must be back in our own time.
My God, the ritual! We must get to Stonehenge immediately! Sinclair is going to complete the ritual! Come on, Melanie, we've got to try to stop him!
Ah, one. You forgot the one, everybody. You can't go without a one at the end. Oh, I hate this game. I really do. Thank you, Jangle Storm. Ooh, 11-1. Upping the ante. We're here just in time for the ritual.
Sinclair!
Mr. Halligan, Have you come to witness our finest hour? Very well, my
Dude
friend.
in the moustache to the left is really enjoying this.
Come and watch.
Oh no! A force field.
The time has come. Let us begin.
The Druids are going to take over the world. What can we possibly do? There's a force field. We're clearly doomed. Clearly the only thing we can do is end this game in an act of tremendous sociopathy, like we began, by stabbing Melanie.
Brent!
Sestan! The vow is broken!
Melanie got hurt, so Serstan's promise was broken. Something happened to Melanie. Your reactions to this give me life. Oh no, Serstan's honor. Now he has to possess the person of the future. Legal loopholes. And now, with that ritual stopped, the ritual in the past also failed because Melanie was hurt, so they never existed, and don't ask questions. It's a game,
Melanie.
It's fine.
Have they gone now?
Yes. Yes, they've gone. Everything will be okay. Just lie still.
Brent. Brent, am I going to die?
Halligan is a sociopath.
Nonsense. You're going to be just fine. Just lie completely still. I'll go and get help.
As noted, we end the game on exactly the same note we started. Complete sociopathic behavior.
I'm so cold.
Melanie!
But you're forgetting one thing, chat. You're forgetting that Maglor made us get mistletoe, which can heal wounds. And that is time. However, there is one more thing that you need to see before I sign off.
Melanie.
Brent, what did you do?
You will approve of the other thing.
Practiced a bit of magic, that's all.
Also, the blood miraculously just washes out of her clothes. Use mistletoe for all your washing purposes. And somehow, despite all of this, Halligan still gets the girl. After nearly... that's 2 times he's attempted to murder her. Over the course of this game. Hell, they only met in person like 3 times before going to the past. Anyway, that's Mystery of the Druids. However... we're gonna skip the credits, we're gonna skip the intro, that reverts us to the start. There's something you need to see. We're gonna quit out of Mystery of the Druids. I'm gonna cover up the broken timer with more Druids, because of course I am. And, there is a little, shall we say, music video that someone made on YouTube. And I feel it's the perfect way to cap this off. So, I'm gonna stay quiet. Please enjoy this.
1, 2, 3. Halligan's life was pretty drab. racking up debt with the pizza tab. Then his life got flipped around when they found the bones on the hallowed ground. It's the mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. It's the mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. Lowry was blessed with dashing looks. Got all the girls glued to all his books. He couldn't care less about the quest for killer. Still Halligan came and swiped the scissors. It's the mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. It's the mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. The Druids are coming. The Druids are scary. The Scotland Yard is scared and wary. But Halligan's coming to solve the quarrel. No matter how illegal, corrupt, or immoral. The mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. It's the mystery of the Druids. They all have an attitude. It's the mystery of the Druids. A mystery for me and you. It's the mystery of the Druids. A mystery for me and you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary friends, I think we can pretty much call it quits. I was going to start the live split timer for a laugh, but we will finish it there. Thank you very much for sticking with me throughout this. Mystery of the Druids is a trip, and it was a blast to run it for you, and I'm glad it went sufficiently well. My brain isn't working, I can't remember what's coming up next, but there is amazing stuff still to come in this marathon. Please stick around, or get some rest if you need to do so. And with that, I will throw it back to the host. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me with this, and I will see you soon.